center. It's like the game before changes. It's new Hopkins double off, and now Suzuki and Coffee.
All right, looks like everything is good to go here for the stream as far as YouTube and Twitter Space. I'm waiting for the game to start here, but we figured I'll just jump in before Cooper Hopkins gets his start here. It's a 5-5 game between the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. We're at Scotiabank Arena right now, and Austin Matthews trying to get his fourth goal of the game to give the Toronto Maple Leafs the lead, but it is the Maple Leafs with the puck now with Morgan Riley. This will stop. It's open middle of the slot. Sweet move by Matthews. And that one was stopped off of the breakaway. Austin's going to circle back across the neutral zone again and start it again. Here's Willie Nylander. He's going to try to protect the puck off the backhand. And he'll shovel this here for Kel Yarncroc. Yarncroc now working his way. And behind the net as he's being watched by Nick Suzuki. Here's a chance for John Klingberg now, the newly minted Toronto Maple Leaf, as he puts this back on the inboards. Again, it's a 3-on-3 in overtime. Willie Nylander now off his forehand, keeps it alive. Sweep for Yarncroc off the back pass. Here's Klingberg. Keeping it in the zone now off his forehand. Drop for Cal. We'll try to go ahead and stutter step through as Willie Nylander now. Set it up in the middle of the slot, and nobody's home. 41 shots on goal for the Maple Leafs. 22 for the Montreal Canadiens in this 5-5 game. It's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Tavares sent it across, and just late arriving there. Here's a chance off the backhand, and it hit the post for Morgan Riley. And we still play on. Kirby Dach. We'll send this across now, and we'll get started again with the Montreal Canadiens. Dach off the drop pass. They stay on side. Here's a quick wrister as this bounces off the goaltender here for the Maple Leafs. And we'll start again. So Maple Leafs have it, and behind the net, it's Matthew Knies, the former Big Ten product. Knies will drop it here for John Tavares, longtime Islander, now with the Maple Leafs over the last few years, coming together there with Lewis as this is knocked down. Tavares, backhanded pass, goes off of the leg. The goaltender might have been Jake Allen in net now, as this is a 2-on-2. Canadians got a Dach. He's taken down. A penalty's called. And as soon as the Maple Leafs touch up, they're going to have to kill a penalty here. So it's going to be 4-on-3 for the Montreal Canadiens with 1:47 left to go in the OT. And I think it's going to be against Matthew Knies. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the box score here on this side. We'll just duplicate it just to let you know what's coming across. And then we will get into our broadcast. So I have the 2:23 of this OT. And then when it cuts up on the ESPN side for ESPN Plus, we'll put that in. So just to give you the quick reset here, it's Ilya Samsonov in goal against Jake Allen. Samsonov not particularly sharp, 18 out of 23. Jake Allen 35 out of 40 right now at this point. Austin Matthews already has a hat trick in his first game. He scored back-to-back goals at 15:27 and 18:53 as Brad Treliving looks on. Montreal will take their time out. Matthew Knies at the box for tripping at 3:13. Montreal has the power play. They're 1 for 3 tonight with 3 shots on it as they're trying to get their first one of the season. So again, it's the majority of firsts for a lot of the teams here as we're just really getting started in the 23-24 season. Again, Alec Nava was with me yesterday for the ESPN Triple. We got a triple rally cap there for a young Maple Leafs fan in this 5-5 game. So a lot of goals in the third period, a lot of goals in the second, 4 across in the second, 5 in the third, 3 unanswered for Montreal, made it a 5-3 game for Austin Matthews, tied at 5-5. So as we're back underneath the action now, it's Jake Allen. This will play this one across and get started here for Evans. So off of a 4-on-3 now, Dach off the drop pass, trying to find Nick Suzuki, and this is sent down the ice. 1:20 left to go in the overtime. Again, we are tied at 5. A little bit of bonus coverage here for you before we get into the Jets and the Flames. John over with you. Going to be joined by Cooper Hopkins. And behind the net now, Montreal will stay patient with it as it's Dach. Dach still holding in the high circle. We'll get it back from Nick Suzuki. Dach will stay patient. It's a little triangle shape for the Maple Leafs right now, but they're not tired. They haven't had to move. Down to a minute left to go in this overtime. Here's an opportunity for Suzuki, but it'll peel back on the right side, and the high slot is Dach. Now for Nick Suzuki. Here's a chance of a wrister, and a save there by Samsonov. It was right in the middle of the right circle off the wrister, and he held that from Suzuki. 49.9 left to go in the OT. So Jake Evans opened the scoring unassisted, 1-0 Montreal after 1. Then Alex Newhook from the Colorado Avalanche, assisted by Yuri Slafkovsky and Kirby Dach, made it 2-0. Noah Gregor, Austin Matthews, and Willie Nylander made it 3-2 after 2. Then Cole Caulfield and Newhook scored. Newhook got his second. From then Jesse Lonen made it 5-3, and a couple Austin Matthews goals, 5-5. That's where we are now. Doc on the power play, trying to leave here for Suzuki. 40 seconds left to go. The power play is going to carry all the way over unless we go to a shootout. Doc is up top now. He's going to wait for Caulfield to move around as this is dropped here for Suzuki. Suzuki's got it now. Caulfield wants the one-timer, but he partially fanned on it. Down to 24 seconds left to go on this OT. As this is centered on in front, a couple of stick checks. Going to be held in by Evans. Yes, it is. Now near the right side, Doc will have it. Fine here for Suzuki near the left side, Leave for Doc. Here's a cross pass. Didn't hit the stick of Cole Caulfield. Down to 5 seconds now. Try to be patient here, or the Canadians, but they got to go quick. Down to 2 seconds. Here's a shot that goes off a stick. 0.5 seconds left to go in the OT. We're going to be going to a shootout here. And the first game of the season between the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs, 5-5. And Austin Matthews, he won't get 4 goals, but maybe his 4th goal in the shootout that doesn't count, as that was blocked by Timothy Liljegren, will be in the shootout and get the extra point for one of these teams. So some surprising results early for these two squads, but we will see if that continues. David Kemp going to go ahead and take the draw. I'm just going to go ahead and see on my side if we can flip over as far as the coverage. This should be live now. I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything as far as our official game. So this is still waiting to start. So I think we should be okay as far as our coverage. I'm going to flip to this now because it is a shootout, and then we will get into it officially. So for anyone that has joined early, you have some shootout coverage, a little bonus here for me to get started early. I saw the score, got a little bit ready to go about 5 minutes early. I wanted to make sure that we got this all in before everything officially starts. So Jake Allen going to wait at the bench here before we get set for Samsonov, and we will see. Matthew Nye is going to be out of the box. He's eligible to go now here for the shootout because the penalty doesn't carry over on that end. So it's pretty easy if you're Brad Treliving or if you're Sheldon Keefe, what you think you'd want to do for the first of 3 shooters in the shootout on the side. You got Austin Matthews, you got Tavares, you got Nylander. So I'm pretty sure that's probably what they can go with. And you got Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield on the other. I don't think we're going to see too many surprises as far as the shootout. Again, this is bonus coverage for me before we flip back over. Cooper Hopkins should be joining me on this side. I know he's a little bit under the weather as I was, but I think everything will be okay once we get going on our featured broadcast. But we'll give you the shootout nonetheless. So Jake Allen. He's going to get set to wait here. He's going to have to stop the puck. This is going to be Willie Nylander. He's going to go first. Now, near the middle of the circles, off the patient tall drag, waits out Allen. It doesn't matter anyway. He stops it. He was in full sprawl, able to make the save. And Toronto is turned away on the first shootout opportunity. Jake Allen was down and out, but the opportunity cut off the angle, and it forced Nylander to part of the post. So Nick Suzuki now against Ilya Samsonov. Suzuki slow as he will wait up until the middle of the zone and get started now. He's severe right angle near the right side dot off the toe drag. Going to hold. He lost the puck. Never got a chance to shoot it. And after one round, we're scoreless here. So that is not what you want to see. Normally sure-handed Nick Suzuki, not calling him Connor McDavid. But as far as the shootout opportunities, you'd think it could be special. Speaking of special, 3 goals for Austin Matthews already. He has a hat trick. He's got the silver chain on, trying to give the Maple Leafs the lead. Again, the 4th goal didn't count on the shootout side. Series of moves, and he gets denied. 5-hole by Allen. It was a couple of stick drags back and forth, but saved there by Jake. Again, he's been pretty good. This one off the left side of the blocker. And we will do it again with Cole Caulfield. Caulfield now. He gets set to skate in. They're taking a look at the coaching staff of Marty St. Louis. A little bit of salt and pepper at this time and point of his age. Here's near the left side dot. Off the backhand, Caulfield slows up, shoots, and misses the net. So 2 rounds. We're still scoreless here. A little bit of a surprise for me for both of these teams as far as the firepower and artillery that they can both provide, especially in the shootout. Again, you can't shortchange the Montreal Canadiens here, but now you got Mitchell Marner. He has a chance to give Toronto the lead against Jake Allen. Pick this up off the forehand now, near the right side. Dot working his way middle of the circles. Series of back and forths and scores! As easy as you like against Jake Allen. And that gives the Maple Leafs the shootout lead. And now Montreal must score if they want to get this extra point. That was silky, smooth, and close. About 4 or 5 stick handles. And it's going to leave it to Kirby Dach. He must score to be able to give Montreal a chance to continue in this shootout. If not, Toronto takes the extra point. Dach slows up off the half spin, working his way back in forehand, and he missed it. It's saved there by Samsonov partially with the stick. It's over, and the Maple Leafs take a 6-5 victory in the shootout as we will go into our featured coverage. That's pretty damn entertaining. We will see what our featured game will have for us. So I'm going to flip back in here now as we should be set to go here. We're still in the middle of waiting to go. So good thing I flipped over on that side. We're not going to really miss any coverages. So as we wait for everything else to get going, and I know that Cooper Hopkins is going to join me officially. What's going on, Nonsense? How are you doing, my friend? So as I wait for this game to get started, I know Cooper Hopkins should be joining in, and as long as he's not feeling underneath the weather, let me give you the starting lineups. Head coached by Rick Bowness. This is the Winnipeg Jets. Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor, Gabe Viliardi, Josh Morrissey, Dylan DeMillo, Cole Perfetti, Nito Niederreiter, Nikolai Ehlers with Dylan Sandberg and Neil Pionk. Adam Lowry, Alex Iafallo, Mason Appleton with Rasmus Kupari, Morgan Barron, and Vladislav Nemestikov. It'll be Brandon Dillon and Nate Schmidt be the back-end defense with Connor Hellebuck in goal, the Commerce Township, Michigan native. And of note, as we'll talk about throughout the broadcast, and I will get Cooper's thoughts when he joins in here, Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuck did sign 7-year extensions at 8.5 per, so the big dogs are staying put. For the Calgary Flames, now head coached by Ryan Huska, it is Elias Lindholm, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Dylan Dubé with Noah Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson. Nazem Kadri, Igor Sharankovich with Matthew Coronado, Nikita Zadorov, Mackenzie Weegar, Michael Backlund, Andrew Mangiapane, Blake Coleman, Adam Ruzicka, Dryden Hunt, Walker Dewar, Jordan Osterley, and Chris Tanev. Jacob Markstrom will be in goal for the Calgary Flames. So Cooper is in here now. We got in just in time. We just got a little bit of a shootout in between Toronto and Montreal. And now we are watching the players making their glorious return to the ice for the start of the 23-24 season at the Saddledome. I am beyond excited, my friend, to have you back. It's been a while since we did Free Agency Frenzy, but we are here. It's the Jets and the Flames, my friend.
John, yes, sir, we are back for yet another year of NHL action. There's quite a bit of action here in Los Angeles, where I am, just about a mile away at an outdoor mall called The Grove. There are helicopters hovering overhead because Taylor Swift is in the building for the premiere of her concert film, which sold over $100 million in pre-sale tickets. But who cares, John? We got pro hockey on a fresh sheet of ice. This is going to be my first game of the year, calling it with you tonight here on Twitter/X Spaces. But I know you have already been a hardworking man, which is par for the course for you, my friend.
Well, we started the first game in between Seattle and Vegas. It was a slot machine dropping the Stanley Cups and then a banner dropping in front of it, uniquely Vegas.
Oh, 100%. I love that it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, a little bit of the kitsch that is classic Vegas. But you know what? However you feel about that, and I thought it was great. They certainly earned that banner. And it is a bold one with the Stanley Cup itself front and center on that banner as we sit down. The Flames taking the ice here, and I know you just went through lineups, John, but there are any number of narratives we can touch on, and I know you've been doing some pregame. What are your thoughts on this all-Canadian matchup here to start things off in Alberta?
Well, first, let's just talk about it openly, and we're going to start with the Jets. I know you and I covered the trade there alongside Gabe Viliardi, Alex Iafallo, Rasmus Kupari, and his second-rounder. But what we didn't know at the time during the free agency frenzy, what's going to happen with Scheifele and Hellebuck. And then, bam, 7-year extensions, my friend. The heavy artillery is going to stay in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I have to be I'm not one that expected that kind of an outcome. I think you and I both thought that pieces would continue to exit from Winnipeg and they would retool, but to the contrary, matching contracts for two huge pieces, and the fact that they are locked in, I think, has to give Jet fans a lot of hope for this season and well beyond.
Yeah, I'm interested to see alongside those trades. Again, you move on from PLD on that end, you get Viliardi and Iafallo. They're going to be some big pieces. And if you have the health of Kyle Connor and Nikolai Ehlers, well, then you feel pretty good. And on the other side, let's talk about it with the Calgary Flames, my friend. Craig Conroy, now the GM, alongside 2003 NHL cover athlete Jerome McGinley.
Yes, indeed. This is big time stuff. You're tugging at my heartstrings already, John. You know how right to get to the heart of things. And speaking of which, I mean, this is perfect timing for me. I just accidentally set up my own segue. Here comes the heart of the Calgary Flames team onto the ice, wearing a freshly emblazoned C on the left shoulder of his sweater. Michael Backlund, now the captain of the Calgary Flames. He is the first captain since Mark Giordano, who departed for Toronto, where he is extending his career, and he was in action tonight.
I got to tell you, man, in between some of the reactions I saw, especially with Backlund and Rasmus Anderson, I think everybody knows that it was well-deserved, and I'm very happy to see Michael Backlund, the longest tenured Flame, as we always talk about, wear the C. I think it was very well-deserved.
Yeah, we've talked about Bax a lot during our broadcast, and of course I've roped you into many nights covering the Calgary Flames, so thank you for always walking down this path with me, which we know can sometimes be bumpy. If we look back to last year, Craig Conroy was not in the position that he's in now. Iginla was not in the position he's in now. So new leadership, new coach, as I know you mentioned, Ryan Huska. Lots of changes in decision-making roles, John. But by and large, by contrast, the team itself looking relatively similar to what was iced last year. Obviously, Toffoli goes away. A couple of changes on the blue line, namely Osterley, but he's a third-pairing defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to mention one other change, and this is a very sad one. Assistant General Manager Chris Snow, who was with the Flames for a long, long time, recently passed away from complications of Lou Gehrig's disease. He and his family were really integral to some of the contracts that were offered to Flames that are going to be part of the organization and have been very important on and off the ice in the community for a long, long time. And the Flames have already extended warm wishes to his family. His son, Cohen, brought the team out for their warm-ups tonight. And anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I've followed along with his and his family's story over the past few years. And I know the Flames are going to be playing with heavy but very motivated hearts for their friend who's no longer with us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very well said. I was following a lot of that stuff too. And honestly, even from afar, even doing all these broadcasts with you, got me a little misty-eyed. I won't lie.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is time now as we have our feeds up, John, and we'll see if we if we have our traditional minor delay. Sometimes I'll be about 5 to 10 seconds behind John. He's always ahead of everything when it comes to hockey, so I'm just following his lead as usual. But we have our feeds up ready to go, and I know that the anthems will be sung here momentarily. John, what have you thought about the first night and a half or so of hockey so far? I mean, dare I go to the obvious question? Connor Bedard already with a couple points in the bag, including his first goal.
Yeah, he's making it look a little too easy through his first couple games.
Isn't it? It's impressive. I mean, he gets the apple, the second assist. I think it was in the second period last night in Chicago's comeback win against the Penguins. That's going to give the conspiracy theorists plenty to talk about. You know, it's scripted. You got to get Connor Bedard his win. In his debut, as the Flames honor at this very moment Chris Snow, who we were just speaking about. But he steps in tonight, and boy, John, yeah, you're right. Back-to-back nights, and he's just off and running immediately.
Yeah, TNT was very thankful, and they said openly to see Connor Bedard's first goal in the national broadcast. And again, even going into a little bit less, you can tell a little bit of nerves there, but to get an assist, and I liked it at the very opening when he had the referees in the middle with the ceremonial face-off with Crosby. That's just an awesome moment to play with your idol and not only get the win, because that was a fantastic third period last night for Chicago.
Yeah, it certainly was. And some great stops. The goaltending in that game was solid, and I'm already liking what I'm seeing. And the Flames, speaking of goaltending, John, would you say, is it a coin flip whether or not Jacob Markstrom will give up a goal in the first shot of the game tonight.
Oh, man. I hope we don't have to go there because last season we were on pins and needles. Again, it was just 1 point for the Flames, 1 point for the Penguins for a team that we just talked about to get into the postseason. I hope we don't have to do that this year, my friend.
My, oh my. It was, I know I said bumpy ride a few minutes ago. That was more of a running into a brick wall. That was a tough way to end the season for the Flames, and I know they have much higher hopes. But I don't know if the pundits, John, agree across the board that the Flames are going to be a playoff team this year. I will come right out and say, bias aside, I do think they have the pieces, and I do think they have the motivation to sort of wash the taste out of their mouths from last year and step back into a playoff spot, which many thought they would be in last year. But I'm curious, my friend, do you have thoughts about how close they'll be? Will they be on the cusp again, or will they be in the big dance, so to speak?
I think they're going to be in the big dance. And when we get into the first intermission, I do have schedule oddities that I want to share with the Calgary Flames, and also for my upcoming assignment tomorrow. I might need Cooper Hopkins to already talk me off the ledge with the Red Wings because you will not believe their first 13 games. It's a gauntlet.
All right, well, I don't want to steal your thunder. We're going to hang on to that for first intermission. We always find some good topics to cover, usually courtesy of you and your elite hockey brain. But yeah, John, this is a big night. It's the second night of action here in the 23-24 season. Love to see the Sea of Red there in the Saddledome. One other thing to note for Calgary Flames fans and hockey fans in general, especially those who know about the oldest buildings in the league. Calgary leads the way, or I guess trails, in having the oldest barn around. And the Saddledome, at least right now, is scheduled to be no more within the next 3 to 4 years.
Yes.
With an event center approved by the ownership and the city of Calgary. And the premiere in Alberta, and ground will be broken, I believe, late 2024 or 2025. The plan for the Flames to be in a new arena by 2027. So that's major. The Saddledome is the only stadium I have ever known as a lifelong fan of the Flames. So that's big changes, but I think it's needed for this franchise.
I think it is needed, and it will come at an interesting time because you think about the core of everything else that we talked about last year. There's going to be new pieces going forward into a brand new building at that point.
Yeah, no question. No question about it. And I just hope it's as nice as Little Caesars. What can I say?
Hey, I mean, Joe Louis had all of its luster and all that, but the steps down there, again, those could kill you. So, yeah, we needed to make some changes in that building. So, hopefully the Saddledome, that'll turn into some nicer things in the new building. I'm just wondering what they're going to call it.
That's true. I mean, who knows? That's anybody's best guess. And I will say, I'll age myself a bit here, which I do far more frequently than I care to these days. I remember first learning about and seeing the steps at Joe Louis when I was playing the big box PC edition of NHL 98. We had Eric Lindros on the front.
Yeah.
That's where when the game would be loading, there would be still images of whatever arena that you were playing in, home or away, and the Joe Louis steps I can see them in my mind right now. But I know that, John, you can see them because you used to have to traipse up and down them. No easy task for anyone.
No.
But the only image I have in my mind is the one from NHL 98. So there you go.
There you go, the big old cinder blocks. So Connor Hellebuck, 37, 25, and 2, 249. And Jacob Markstrom, 23, 21, and 12, 292 with an 892 save percentage. You know those numbers are going to need to get bounced up. How do you want to do this, my friend? Do you want to split broadcasts? I know you said you're feeling a little bit under the weather as well, so I don't want to push you.
Yeah, well, you've been working hard. I hope your pipes are warmed up. Unfortunately, bad timing for me. Got a bit of a horse throat over the past couple of days. I think I'm good to go. But John, since you're warmed up, why don't you kick us off here? I'll roll with the color, and then we can swap out in a second. And we split the third sometimes. Maybe we do that, or we'll talk our way through it.
All right, sounds good. So let's just see what happens here between the Jets and the Flames, because these are two really good teams. And alongside, as we talked about in the open, Winnipeg's got all of their same horses. So if they get off to a good start, I mean, who knows? This team was already pretty dangerous last year before they ran into the Golden Knights.
Yeah, right there, John, on the first shift. I'd love to see it. Big number 16 in red. Nikita Zadorov making his presence felt early. Throws the first check of the year on Appleton, and it's a big one. He rattles the glass right there. A beautiful clean hit from the big defenseman for Calgary.
Why can't I just say, why am I not surprised it's Nikita Zadorov making the first big play?
He loves to be noticed. He'll watch him tonight. I guarantee he's going to take the puck to the net. He's going to try to score. There's a forward somewhere deep in that heart. But I love the fact that he throws the body around. Now we're back under the action. And John Ott, take it away.
So Backlund tries to go ahead and make this pass, but Appleton's there. But Zadorov's right there to cancel him off again as the Jets can't hold it in. Again, it's the first game of the season for both of these teams. It'll be the first game of the season for a lot of these teams going forward until we get into that big Saturday side of it. Again, we're just getting underway here in 23 and 24. It's John on alongside Cooper Hopkins, and we're glad to be back here with you for yet another year. It'll be 2.5 really for us, but the second full seasons. Rasmus Kupari will get some time on the fourth line, so you're going to see all three former LA Kings now with the Jets. It's Noah Hannafin trying to keep this alive, and Jonathan Huberdeau will knock this away from Gabe Vigliardi. Again, there'll be some different names that I'll have to get used to saying on this team, as this is flipped down the ice expertly, but Rasmus Sanderson will hold it off. The Swedish defenseman will play it off the wall, trying to find Dylan Dubé, but the Jets may be able to keep this in. Gabe Vigliardi, here's a cross pass, so he'll get it back. Going for a sharp angle shot. Markstrom found it and made the save.
He did it, John. He did it. He saved the first shot. That's all I need. I'm okay. My heart can slow down. It doesn't have to race anymore. That was a tough angle right there, but a good job by the Jets to create some pressure. Flames kept a shell around Markstrom. He had to find that bouncing puck. Did a good job to cover up.
Again, we don't want to understate all the stuff that we were dealing with over the last year as far as covering a lot of these games together. So you want to see some things kind of level off. Same thing when you're thinking about Kadri and Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar. We'll certainly get into that, and we'll have some discussions during the break as well as the Jets won the draw. They've already won 3 of those. Here's another chance, and Neo Niederreiter gets absolutely robbed.
Oh, wow, John. Well, that's what I get for talking about Markstrom early. He did a good job to keep that second shot out after the first one was dealt with relatively easily. But boy, Niederreiter on the doorstep about 6 feet away from the half-open cage somehow can't find the open spot in the net. And again, Markstrom's able to cover up, but a little bit of defensive lapse right there for Calgary.
I mean, that pass was wide open right on the tape for Niederreiter. Again, he had half the net to shoot at. He just couldn't lift it. Another face-off win. Now it's Nate Schmidt. He's looking for a deflection, and this will go near the left side of the wall for Nino. He'll try to recollect himself after nearly just getting a goal. It's 3-0 in favor of the Jets. Here's another opportunity. This gets deflected, brushed aside into an open area by Tanev. And the Flames got to start going right to left here in the sea of red jerseys. This is ice.
Yeah, a little bit of nerves here for the Flames early on, and I just think that perhaps they are feeling out these new line combinations. Interestingly, and with a little bit of chatter on Twitter/X, I'm just going to keep calling it Twitter.
Yeah, please.
Thank you for that approval. A little bit of chatter about Dylan Dubé being on the first line. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but it's also not what I expected, so we'll have to see how he performs on the top line.
Again, it's moving on from Tyler Toffoli, who's now with the New Jersey Devils. Somebody's got to put that first line. We're not expecting that type of production, but somebody's got to play it. This Kadri will try to race in. We'll get the stick check, centered it out in front, and now late arriving Noah Hannafin just keeps this in, as the pass could have been wide open, but nobody was there for the Flames. As this goes on to the right side of the wall. Nice crisp passing in for Dewar. And now it's Ruzicka. Here's a chance for Greer. Good save by Hellebuck as he made his first big save off the first chance for the Flames. Played it off the backhand now for DeMello. And this will be picked up across the Flaming Sea. Again, we're at the Scotiabank Saddledome. It's the Calgary Flames home opener is Dewar. He was in between all sorts of stick checks. Kyle Connor. Here's the captaincy and Michael Backlund. Wouldn't it be great to see him get the first goal? Backlund with a rebound opportunity, and we'll see what the call is with 17:09.
Yeah, boy, John, A.J. Greer endearing himself right away to his new team and the fans in the building. He comes over from Boston, immediately gets a spot. My understanding is he is on the fourth line. You think, okay, we got a grinder here. Maybe we're trying to replace some of the grit, the sand that another Boston Bruin and Milan Lucic brought to this squad for several years. But, man, that was a nice snap left wrist shot right there, and then Backlund with a shot right on. Now the Flames are buzzing.
Yes, it was. And if I'm correct, right, A.J. Greer was picked up off of waivers, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, they just got him off of the waiver wire, and he's making an impact immediately.
Yeah, he looked pretty good on that shot attempt. We'll see how that continues. Morgan Barron will throw this one back around. I think it's Barron, so let me correct myself, as it's Backlund now. Pullman loses the puck. And this will be for Vladimir Mestikov, former Red Wing, Devil Star, Tampa Bay Lightning, everything, as the Jets. Now here's a late arriving for Ehlers, and this goes wide, and we get a stoppage.
Yes, indeed, we get a stoppage, John. I thought there was going to be a penalty at the other end of the ice when the Flames were in the offensive zone, but flip that around. We're going to have a holding call against Calgary here. I didn't get a number on the defender streaking back as the Jets were coming in toward Markstrom, but the first power play of the game and the season for Winnipeg is going to start in just a moment. It's actually Backlund, and he got his elbow hooked up with Barron right there, whose name you just altered. And at 3:20, Backlund in the box now, man down for the Flames.
Josh Morrissey now, Kyle Connor. Jets have been excellent in the draw here early. That's got to change. It's now they have a chance to get all sorts of puck possession. Here's a bomb from Connor, and that's a good sliding across for Markstrom.
Yeah, and you know what? Credit right there. Very savvy play down near the crease. Shifley pops across in front of Markstrom's field of vision. Good job by big number 25 in net for Calgary to keep an eye on the puck. He squeezes that bicep to the rib cage, holds the puck out. It's face-off time.
See if the Flames can kind of change their fortunes here. Here's a push. Morrissey able to keep this in, though. So Jets continue to buzz. Kyle Connor has it on the right face-off dot. Drop for Morrissey. Fake the slapper. Here's a beautiful slap pass. This puck is just sizzling across the ice right now. Connor has it near the right dot, trying to force his way in the middle. It'll fall to Morrissey in the high slot. Connor again with a slapper, and Markstrom makes the save as they push a little bit against Alex Iafallo.
John, the Flames getting worked over a little bit here early on the penalty kill. Another reference to Twitter. I've seen a lot of comments about Mark Savard, former Flames player, former Boston Bruin. We talked about a few of those. He is now a coach with the Flames. He's running the power play unit, but of course, the ice is flipped right now as the Flames are down a man. They got to pick up the PK here, and they definitely have to start winning faceoffs, which they just did not.
Oh, pass across, goes off the outside of the bar. Markstrom saves it again, and the Jets came that close.
I'm so sorry, John. I didn't mean to step on you there, but I should have expected the Jets to get another shot off. They are literally inching closer and closer to scoring this first goal. Saved by the bar right there was Markstrom, as you aptly noted. Or actually, excuse me, I think that actually went glove side. It may have bounced around a little bit. But Velarde, former King, making an impression early.
God, these faceoffs feel like 8-0, and I'm trying not to be hyperbolic here. Here's Connor as this is put back around the inboards. Morrissey wants it. Markstrom, it's pushed away from the crease. My goodness. And the Flames finally flip this out, and Connor Hellebuyck gets to play the puck. It feels like he has not done that so for an eternity. Now here goes Sharon Kovac, former New Jersey Devil. I'll play this one back to the defensive side and see if Calgary can just slow down the domination that the Jets are kind of feeling a little bit early. I know it's scoreless, but Hellebuyck now almost had some trouble behind his own net for Elias Lindholm. Here come the Jets again. They gain the easy entry here. Ehlers will send this one across Tanev. We'll try to cancel it out. Near the left side of the red line. Here's a chance now for the Jets is Cole Perfetti again. He's coming back from the injury side. He's back out there now. Neil Pionk wants a deflection. Tanev will be the first to get to with a stick chop. This one stays in possession of the Jets. They throw it out in front, and this will be right to the Flames. See if they can get things going here for Dylan Dubé. He'll just flip it in and take the change. Got to be a lot of tired Calgary players there, but they do kill the penalty mercifully. Markstrom was definitely 100% at that point right now. He's ready to go as it's 14:30 left to go. And the first turnover right in front of the net. Markstrom bails him out. Yet another save as this is put around the end boards. My goodness, Jonathan Huberdeau trying to get this out. Noah Hannafin, they'll flip it in. As the Kadri line's back out there, this maybe is iced at 14:18. Offsides.
Excuse me while I exhale, John. The Flames look a bit of a mess right now. It's not an unmitigated disaster. If that were the case, it'd be 2-0 Winnipeg right now, but if I'm being honest, I think you'll agree, probably should be 2-0 Winnipeg right now. That power play felt like a double minor. It felt like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That's how long the Flames spent in their own end. They lost essentially every faceoff. They were finally able to clear. Now they do win a faceoff at center ice. Play resumes. I'll let you continue.
So 14-10 left in the first big hit near the players' bench. And now we probably will get some pushing and shoving with Lowry and Lindholm. So 14-11 left in the first as we get a little bit of a stoppage there, but we're going to get another neutral zone draw.
Yes, indeed. You know me, John. I'm good for missing the mute button once or twice in broadcast. I was talking to myself in my living room. But, yeah, big hit right there for the Jets. A little bit of an answer from that hit right at the beginning of the game. Zadorov against Appleton, perhaps. Players come together. Nothing too crazy, but the referees do get involved. Another face-off here at the center dot.
So I'll see how this fourth line goes as Adam Ruzicka wins a draw. I don't remember him taking a lot of draws last year. As this is sent back around the end boards now and see if the Jets can actually play some defense before they transition left to right. They've had the puck all period, it seems like, as this is flipped in. Baseball style snag by Markstrom.
Yeah, Markstrom playing a little center field right there, doing his best. Ken Griffey Jr. He makes the catch pretty easily with the big glove, and now it's been a theme through the first period, my friend. A lot of face-offs, a lot of stoppages, offsides, and penalties. One penalty against the Flames, that was the captain, Backlund. He, of course, is back on the ice, and the penalty was killed, but by the skin of their teeth for the Flames, and that will take the media timeout. We'll see, John. Ryan Huska, just a few minutes into his tenure as the Flames head coach after many years in the AHL with a lot of success. Definitely need to collect himself and his penalty killers a little bit, and hopefully during this timeout they can catch their breath. They were running around a lot when they were down.
Yeah, the team stats, again, this is just for part of the course for ESPN. 10-2 for the Jets on shots on goal. Hits are even on that, so pretty much one apiece. But I'm looking at the face-offs. It says 7-5 for Calgary, but I just don't believe that. I think 5 of those were all won by the Jets on the power play end.
Yeah, I truly cannot believe that. Maybe somebody meant 7 plus 5 for the Jets. 12 face-off wins to 0 for Calgary. That seems more plausible to me. But no, there have, of course, been a handful of wins. But definitely during that power play, Winnipeg was capitalizing with their centers and winning those draws and putting themselves in great position. The Flames have only had a couple of scoring chances to really speak of here early in this first period of their first contest. And it's going to be, John, a theme that we talked about a lot last year. There's got to be someone, and it's got to be early, because a lot of times the Flames of the past couple of years wait until it's too late to have somebody step up and try to lead the charge for the team. I'd like to see someone separate themselves here, an individual, and not necessarily carry the team, but just set the tone.
Yeah, you want to see that. I know before we get back into the action here, as we're doing a little bit of a scrapage, I'm looking at the stat lines, and I have to mention his name for Jonathan Huberdeau, 15 goals, 40 assists, 55 points. I think you're going to see some sort of level. I know I'm not expecting 100 points, but from 55 maybe to 75, does that seem feasible?
Yeah, and I'd like to take it even maybe one notch further. I'd like to see him at least hit the 80 plateau. He is obviously a skilled goal scorer, but probably leans a little bit more toward a different style of play, of course, but a little toward that Johnny Gaudreau role of facilitator. So perhaps we see him with, maybe 50 assists. Maybe he gets to the 30-goal plateau. But we are back in the action, John, so jump back on there and we can discuss further.
13:25 to go in the first here. It's 10 shots to 2. Shots on goal in favor of the Jets. If you're asking Jacob Markstrom to look good and get a sweat on early, he's definitely looked like the Markstrom of old. Not even halfway through the first period. And again, that would be a really good sign for Flames fans. And again, you got Dan Vladar as well. You got Dustin Wolf, who was sent out from the Calgary Wranglers, but for how long, I wonder, is the question, depending on how things go. Matthew Coronado bumps into big Nikita Zadorov, and that'll be enough to knock him down. As Zadorov will help him try to punch this one back in with Kadri, and Hellebuyck will play this as he's gotten fresh off his 7-year extension. He's one of the best. Good steal, but offsides, just barely, as Rasmus Anderson.
And Nikita Zadorov, he's truly one of my favorite Flames. And he does not discriminate, John. He will hit you if you are in his way, even if you're wearing a James sweater. I love it. Obviously I'm having some fun, but when I'm talking about players setting the tone for the Flames, I just always seem to be talking about number 16. He's not necessarily the most noticeable on every shift, but he's always going to be noticeable at least a couple of times in the game, and I appreciate that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we've done a lot of these broadcasts, and again, I think he's fit right in with Calgary since coming over from the Avalanche side of it. I think he could be a mainstay for a long time. He's back underneath it now. As the Jets will have it, this will be a late arrival 1-on-2. Here's Pionk, cross pass. Good save by Markstrom with the glove, but it's loose. And now he'll hold on to it. Jacob's been brilliant so far.
You just said it, John. And Markstrom is fired up. He also got some snow in the face there. You can see it on his jersey near the collar. There was action right in front, but that was essentially a 2-on-1 that became a 3-on-2. And you described it just right. Late breaking Pionk, dragging behind the play. He centers. Niederreiter has now been robbed a couple of times. Markstrom is the star so far in this game.
Yeah, if we're talking about Niederreiter, all you got to do is continue to get those same opportunities. You think eventually they go in. You can't get discouraged. There's a chance for Coleman off the long flip. It'll allow Hellebuck to play the puck and the Flames to get an offensive zone draw.
Yeah, you know what? I was about to make a joke, and then as it scanned through my brain, I actually don't hate it as a strategy. Blake Coleman, savvy veteran and Stanley Cup winner, puts a shot on the net from the blue line, essentially right there, and forces a freeze. So the Flames will at least have an ozone draw here, which have been hard to come by. Maybe they can possess, which of course they cannot, John. They push the face off as I talk about it, and the puck bounces to neutral ice.
So Jets now, they're going to fire this one wide to the right side wall as Scheifele will play here DeMello for a nasty-looking deflection as Alex Iafallo tried to be the first to get to it, and Michael Backlund. He's back out on the ice after serving the penalty. Here's Coleman. There'll be a drop. He'll get it back. Coleman will fire it on short side, and he might pick this one back up. There's a broken stick in front of it, so DeMello is going to get one of his tigs, I believe, from Morgan Barron, as he'll go back and get a new stick. As this is a chance for Jordan Osterley now, former Red Wing, as he's not going to be the third line pairing, because you got to do some replacing there for some of the pieces that were lost. Igor Sharankovich will race down the left side of the wall. We'll continue to monitor him as the season goes along, as he's finally going to get some big-time playing time and see what he can do with the Flames. So Coronado out there with Kadri. We'll monitor that line as well. There'll be a lot to watch here for the Flames. There'll be a chance for a wide-open opportunity for Nemestikov, and I'm surprised he didn't try to shoot that off the backhand and test Markstrom. Sharankovich might try to get this one off the wall as we get a whistle with 11:07 in the first. Penalty.
Yeah, John, I'm trying to see here as we get the camera angles kind of bouncing around here, getting a shot of the Jets bench. Looks like we're going to get an interference call against the Jets, and this will be the Flames' first power play of the season. But man, oh man, another late-breaking open player for the Jets flying in on that right wing. It was Nemestikov. I think he did try to get a shot off. Might have been a bouncing puck, kind of deflected off the blade, and he went wide to Markstrom's right. So the Jets with really all of the notable opportunities, except for one or two, one by Greer, one by Backlund. Let's see if the Flames can stack a couple more shots here. They only have 3, but they have 2 minutes on the man advantage.
Kadri can't win the offensive zone draw. Again, the Flames' power play was tied for 19th, 19.8 percentage. That's right around the same percentage of the Vegas Golden Knights and the Seattle Kraken. You want to bump that up a little bit. You got 32 teams. As this is flipped in, Rasmus Anderson will try to give this a go. As he was bothering Connor Hellebuck. Can they keep it in with Jonathan Huberdeau? No. As this goes down to 135, turns it over, and we'll see if this will be a shorthanded opportunity, but Elias Lindholm will be back here. Jacob Markstrom will take a look. I think for Jacob, it'll be nice to maybe possibly take a breath, but I don't want to count my eggs before they hatch here on this side. He hasn't had a lot of chance to take a breath here. As Rasmus Anderson flip it across now. Near the right side wall, Nazem Kadri will get this back to Rasmus. He's more of the power play quarterback. He can do a lot of damage on this side. You know he's dependable. As this will stay with the Flames, Kadri try to center this back out here for Huberdeau near the left side faceoff dot. Play crisscross and back to Rasmus Anderson. Jonathan Huberdeau, you want him to shoot this. Nice move. Desperation play near the right side of the post. Hellebuck says no. As the Flames had their first good opportunity there, Cooper.
Yes, they did, John, and they're going to change it up right here on the fly, are the Flames. It was Coronado on the doorstep, I believe. Kadri looked good behind the net, but Huberdeau, that was a nice, confident move from him. Confidence and decisiveness in one swift motion. There's a slap shot right there that deflects off the body in front. 30 seconds to go here, John. Take it away.
Backlund, Hannafin, Mangiapane. It'll be Hannafin. Good diving play. I thought it was going to be Hannafin, but great defense by the Jets as they'll throw this one back down. We'll see if they have a chance to get one more cycle here. They'll have to get a quick entry. No, he's going to leave it there for Michael Backlund. And good defense there by Lowry as Markstrom will come out of the goal crease. So go ahead and play this one. This one's a little more conventional. Every time we see Jacob leave the goal crease, then Cooper and I might have a little bit of an extra heartbeat as it's set back around for Nikita Zadorov as it's back to full strength here, 10 shots to 4. There's Zadorov moonlighting as a forward. Here's a wrist shot. This goes off the glove hand of Hellebuck and up and on a play.
What did I tell you, John? What did I tell you? Nikita Zadorov, he's going to take his space. If you give it to him, he's on the board. Are we getting another penalty here, John?
Josh Morrissey, I think, might have shot it over the glass, my friend.
I think you're right. I thought that deflected off, and that shot came in from Zadorov. It handcuffed the Jets a little bit, and that was Hellebuck, who's normally pretty steady, and that one bounced off his wrist, and then you're right, it was cleared out, so the Flames on another power play. This will be their second. Their first looked pretty decent. I won't say there were a number of solid chances, but I liked what I saw from a couple of players, even though Kadri lost the draw. I liked his positioning. Again, I don't want to be pressing the button too hard, but the move by Huberdeau on the left wing at the half boards to then get the puck across the crease for a deflection attempt. Those are things that we thought were missing last year, John. So to see those right away, you know what? I will take, even if it's baby steps, I will take it as we hit the commercial break.
Yeah, because again, you have Kadri, Weegar, and Huberdeau all locked in the big deals. You want to see that confidence. And again, when it was Frank Cirelli, I saw a little bit of the interview, and they flat out asked Jonathan Huberdeau, how did last season go? He just said flat out, I didn't have any fun.
Yeah, and that showed. It showed in the results for the team as a whole, and showed on the stat sheet for some players, and Huberdeau was right at the top, well, unfortunately, the bottom of that list after having a career year in his last year with the Panthers prior to the blockbuster Kachuk trade. John, I do want to ask you just fan to fan, because you have more knowledge than I do, although I'm trying to catch up with you when it comes to the Wings. What do you know? Is there anything particular that I should know about Osterley? Jordan Osterley, the new defenseman wearing 82 for the Flames, we did point out he's on that third pairing, not expected to make a massive impact, but obviously has to be defensively sound. Did you like him during his time with the Wings, or is that somebody that you weren't thinking was very notable in Detroit?
Jordan Osterley was a guy that was more of a seventh pairing defenseman to me. He didn't get a lot of playing time, so it'll be interesting to see now as he gets a bigger role what he'll do with the Flames, in my honest opinion.
Okay, no, that's good to know, because I didn't have a lot of knowledge here, and it's going to be, yes, puck over glass, delay of game for Morrissey. Also something to look at as we talk about defenders for the Flames. Osterley might get a few more minutes now because Noah Hannafin may have been dinged up. I'm not sure if he went down the tunnel, but he did double over and head back to the bench. Looked like he was holding a wrist. So 15 seconds gone here in the power play. This one's taken away by the Jets, but Rasmus Andersson, the Swedish defenseman, picks up, and he will skate it back into neutral ice.
So Rasmus get a chance up the give and go now. Be able to gain the entry here near the right side wall and get it back. Rasmus Andersson sent it over for Huberdeau. Made a nice move on one of the earlier shots on the power play. Here's Rasmus in the high slot. Sent it across from Eddie Coronado. He'll be patient. Be still with it here as he gets it back from Nazem Kadri near the right circle. He's stick handling. They're trying to get some space here for the Flames. Not making anybody move just yet, though. Nazem Kadri now working him behind the net. Here's Huberdeau. He's going to let it go short side. Centered out in front. That was dangerous for a moment as this is in between skates and stick blades, and the Jets will smartly use the glass and flip this one down. Markstrom will get a chance to play it. It's consecutive power plays here for the Calgary Flames. Now a chance for Noah Hannafin. It's back on the ice with Adam Ruzicka. So again, some of these personnel is going to look a little bit different here, and once this season goes along, we're going to have a chance to see more of the kids play here a little bit on this side. That's what Craig Conroy and Ryan Huska wanted. As this is Noah Hannafin in the high slot, middle of the circles. Ruzicka scores! Flames have a power play opportunity, and they get it done.
Well, John, Mark Savard better be smiling because he found the recipe. That first power play, you saw the signs. You saw the potential. The second power play, they make no mistake. Great puck movement. Good job keeping the puck in at the right point along the wall. And it is Andrew Breadman Mangiapane. He fires home. That's a beautiful shot right there. Great back pass by Dubé. Cross ice, high slot right there, and going right to left. Hellebuck can't find it with the glove. That is classic stuff right there. And boy, oh boy, I will continue to say that Jonathan Huberdeau, when he's had his moments, he didn't score, John, but he went for that near post.
He did.
He almost found it just past Hellebuck's shoulder. But Mangiapane does right there. He opens scoring on the Flames' sixth shot of the night. It's 1-0 Calgary at the Saddledome.
I see the Flames in their first couple power play opportunities, not just because they score, but they're looking confident. They're not overthinking about what they're doing. It's not shooting in mass that we've talked about, but they're getting good opportunities and they're taking advantage of what they have when they see the space, and that's what you want. You want to see confidence on the ice. Mackenzie Weegar with a late arriving back checking out Mangiapane just scored a goal, able to make a defensive play. It's 6:55 left to go in the first, so Mangiapane draws first blood on the power play from Adam Ruzicka. So those are definitely secondary names that you want to see contribute here to help out the big boys. That's what good hockey teams do. As this is picked up now at the defensive end, and we'll start it again for Jordan Osterley. He'll gain the entry as he chips it in off the glass. Connor Hellebuck will stop this one with the stick. Again, right now, from what I'm watching, the Flames are trying to make sure in behind the net that they make life difficult for Connor Hellebuck. Make sure they don't get caught on that other end as well. So this will be a back pass back to Nikita Zadorov as he'll send this one here for A.J. Greer. Here's a good steal. And now a good chance for the Flames is they'll play some defense on Cole Perfetti. Chance for Dylan now. Brendan Dillon will send this back around. He'll just stick chop it back to Nate Schmidt. Nate Schmidt now will try to be clear in his own end as it goes back to Dillon across the right side wall. Good steal by the Flames. They don't like the pass to Kadri, but the save is made and shot out of play.
You know what? I like it. Coronado wearing his new number 27 right there comes streaking in. A steal just inside the blue line. Kadri was onside. He was an option, but you know what? I say go ahead. Fire on net. You've had some success putting pucks toward Hellebuck, and that one happens to go up and over. But the Flames, I mean, this is the magic of that first goal. It can really breathe life into a team. They seem to have a little more pep in their step right now, don't they, John?
Yes, they do. And again, I'll second it with Matthew Coronado. Again, I just want to see what he's going to do. I always like Nazem Kadri, so I throw that out there. But if Coronado's happy to take those shots off the rush, that's, again, the confident plays I've just talked about you want to see. As this is going to be picked up by the Jets, Lowry will fire it in. Again, Markstrom has had now several minutes where he hasn't been busy, but he hopefully continues to stay hot. As this is picked back up now by the Jets on the left side in the offensive zone, working in behind the cage. They were absolutely brilliant here early in this game as this gets blocked. Be an opportunity for Igor Sharankovic. Here's a good-looking pass, but Flames in the midst of a change, says Ryan Huska's squad, so they'll go back. 5:20 left to go in the first round. I'm here with you alongside Cooper Hopkins. It's our first broadcast of the 23-24 season. We're going to be doing a lot more of these, so glad to have you guys between the YouTube and the Twitter Spaces side. There's a long shot, and it goes in past Markstrom. My goodness, Kyle Connor.
Well, John, just like that, all the air seems to go out of the balloon. That, unfortunately, is what has been Markstrom's downfall over the past couple of seasons after making incredible saves early in this game. Now, late in the first, he gives up a shot that bounces off the underside of his glove, one that frankly should be easily caught at this level, bounces off of his left pad, behind the netminder and into the net. This game is tied when Connor essentially was just trying to get potentially a freeze and maybe an offensive zone draw. So 5:11 to go here in the first, and shockingly, it's now 1-1.
1-1. I guess we will all try to recollect ourselves there. I feel bad for Markstrom because I know how good he's played so far. I mean, quite frankly, this is what the score probably should be on this side, but still, you got to save those. Now, Mackenzie Weegar, as the Jets are going to get some life here toward the end of this first period, and DeMillo trying to force the steal. Vlad Nemestikov trying to keep this alive. This is going to be a race for the puck now. We'll see who's going to later arrive. Jonathan Huberdeau there is Dylan Dubé. Center out front trying to shoot high. And this one goes wide, not a play.
Boy, good effort right there from Lindholm as he races through the neutral zone, picks up a loose puck that was too far away from Hellebuck for him to come out and play it. He gets the puck back right there from Dubé. I like Lindholm's instinct right there. He tried to pick top near corner, but that's a tough shot to make. Perhaps he makes another move if he's given another chance, but at least the Flames are being aggressive. And, John, as we hit another commercial break, something for us to think about. The Flames did seem to have themselves on the front foot after scoring that first goal, and now it's going to be how do you respond? It's a brand new season. You have an unexpected goal that should not have gone in, but you're, as you pointed out, rightfully, there's a scenario, a very realistic one, where the Flames are down 2-1 right now because of the way the Jets were playing during the first 10 or 12 minutes of this first period. So it's 1-1, and now the Flames have everything on the table, and they can choose how to respond here, and maybe they'll find a late one and take it a 2-1 lead into the room.
We'll have to see right now where as it goes, because that's the narrative. It's kind of split both hands. Glass half empty, glass half full. I think we're going to go with the half full approach because Markstrom has stopped 11 out of 12, although the last one Connor definitely should have saved. And Connor Hellebuck just 5 out of 6 for 833. I think the main thing now within the last 4:39 before we go into the second period is get some more work on Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah, it seems like there are opportunities there. Obviously, he is a very solid NHL goaltender, and he knows what he's doing between the pipes. But there have been a couple of moments, and I think back even just to that Zadorov wrister that handcuffed him just a bit. Perhaps there are other opportunities like that. I doubt he will let in a goal like Markstrom just did. So unfortunately for the Flames, that's what they're dealing with right now. But yeah, you make a great point. Got to get the puck to net, and that's what Calgary has been doing over the past few minutes.
So we will talk about this a little bit in the first intermission as far as the Flames schedule. Again, I'm going to lead into the Red Wings schedule, and I'm also going to ask Cooper whether or not a certain record is going to be efficient enough for the start of the year for my favorite team. Look forward to that as Tanev will pick this one back up for an ice, and we'll do it again.
So the assists to that goal go to Sandberg and Pionk, I believe, and it is 1-1 again with 4:31 here to go in the first. Flames being doubled up on the shot board, 12-6, and it is the third season as the Jets head coach for Rick Bowness, and you know what? He just feels like, I somehow can't believe it's only his third season. It feels like he's been there for a decade, John.
Yeah, he's been coaching for a long time, and again, when he was with the Dallas Stars, when we talked about it with the Jake Ottinger experience and the Johnny Gaudreau goal, he didn't have quite a team as talented as the one he has with the Jets right now. Is Kadri able to stay on his feet before being bodied near the right side boards? He'll shoot a long slapper, and this one goes back around. His bounces off of one of the Flames. This is going to allow the Jets maybe to even race to this thing. This will be a pickup by the Flames in their own end for Ruzicka. Going to turn this one over, though, near the right side of the wall, as the Jets have it now near the right side red line. Dylan DeMello, he's pinched in pretty deep, and this will go back here for Tanev. This will send the pass across, and this is a odd-looking play there from one of the Jets. Almost fell skating backwards, allowed the Flames to be able to go ahead and make a change. 12 shots to 6. It's 1-1 on the score sheet here between the Jets and the Flames. Down here with you alongside Cooper Hopkins. Who's happy to be back in the broadcast booth once again between the YouTube side and the Twitter space. As this is picked up now for Majapani. Cross pass, Backlund. He didn't get all that he wanted on it as Coleman was flying into the net.
I'm sure Backlund would have preferred the puck go in as opposed to his teammate like Coleman, but at least something ended up behind Hellebuck there. But you know what, John? One thing I'm noticing here, there seems to be, and listen, this could be a direct result of a new coaching regime and the exit of Daryl Sutter. There just seems to be a little more emphasis on speed. The Flames look to get up the ice as fast as possible and break into that ozone. I mean, I know that is always the goal, but the Flames seem to be doing it a little better than they did last year.
Yeah, I've noticed from some of this stuff earlier. We can talk about it when we get a stoppage, but a lot more cycling, a lot more patience when you get in the zone. I'm not saying that we're not seeing it now. But I think a lot more assertiveness as far as what the Flames want to do, and I think that's going to serve them well going forward. As it's Backlund now, Majapani off the chip and chase. Coleman will take a look. He's just trying to recover from getting launched into the net. This is sent back down now for Markstrom. He'll play it openly near the right side wall, but intercepted by the Jets. Right in the middle. Markstrom down. And again, we've seen a lot of those passes be intercepted by the opposing team. This time, Markstrom holds on.
Yeah. And I'm glad he did, John. And boy, Kyle Connor just shouted the F-bomb because he picked up the puck right between the circles, and boy, a great stick right there by the man who was in the net at the other end. It was Coleman with that back stick check. I think Connor thought he had basically a free shot on net right there from about 12 feet out, but boy, Markstrom with another questionable paddle pass. Let's see if he reduces those as the game continues.
So Tannen, the Flames do win a defensive zone draw. That's got to continue to move that way. Jordan Osterley enters the zone with speed. We'll just put this off the left side of the wall as the Flames will try to maintain puck possession with Jonathan Huberdeau. And now Dubé will try to join in as this is captain at the blue line. No, it's not. Elias Lindholm will spin back around as this bounces off of the Jets here in Cole Perfetti. Again, with partially of the ACL injury there, you get a chance to see Cole Perfetti as that rookie looked pretty good, but the Jets enter off sides.
Yeah, John, another player I wanted to ask you about, I know we talked about Jordan Osterley a bit, obviously, because he spent time in Detroit, and he's getting more of a chance here with Calgary, and we'll see what he makes of it. But I want to ask you a little bit about Sharon Govich. Do you know anything in particular about him? Now, listen, neither of us are ultra fixated on the New Jersey Devils, but of course they're a good team, and I think one of the more popular picks to make it deep in the playoffs this year. As we get some more action here with 2:14 to go in the first, maybe we can try to cover Sharon Govich and see what happens. And what happens right now is I'm going to steal a call, John. It is Mackenzie Weegar from distance. A seeing eye shot with 2:10 to go in the first, and the Flames have their 1-goal lead back on shot. Lucky number 7, Weegar from outside beats Hellebuck up top. It's 2-1 Flames.
That's a good sight to see, isn't it, my friend? It's another face-off win for the Flames. It's an easy move from left to right, and I think Hellebuck got partially screened by Brendan Dillon, his own man.
I think you're right, and I'm going to say he got fully screened. You know what? Another savvy play by A.J. Greer. Lines up perfectly in the shot lane, steps aside by inches, and allows that thing to fly in. Now, John, I've stolen a call from you. I swear that was not my plan. You know I just like to flap my gums. As the Jets take it right in on Markstrom, who robs the Jets with a glove save. That's 2 calls back-to-back. For me, I'm so sorry, John.
You're fine.
Arg screams to himself heading back to the bench. We get the overhead replay here. My goodness, how is it not tied? Number 15 in white gets robbed by the trapper.
Well, we talk about the save that Markstrom probably wishes he would have had, but then you jump right back into ignition, right, with Rasmus Kupari. That's a hell of a stop.
All right, I'm going to shut up now because you're supposed to be on the play-by-play, and I have stepped not just on your toes, I have kicked you down by the knees, my friend. I apologize.
No, this is a lot of fun. As it's Gabe Villiardi. He's been bodied off by Hannafin. Again, you got to watch out for the last 2 minutes. That almost went off the left side of the bar. Now this is behind the cage here, and the Jets have possession. The Flames did just score with Mackenzie Weegar. You want to go into the dressing room with the lead as this is tipped. Noah Hannafin will pick it back up now. Good body contact. Morrissey doesn't fall down. Markstrom knocks it away with the stick. Flames can't get it out, but there is some bevy of contact, and now they're going to call something here with 1:20. Might be offsides. Hand pass.
Maybe offside, John may have contacted potentially Zadorov on the Flames bench as he's chirping with one of the referees. But you know what? It's that Bermuda triangle for the Flames, that corner, the point right near their own bench at home. There always seems to be a scramble there, and Rasmus Anderson has had some tough plays in the past. Let's see if they can eliminate that this evening.
I like that, the Bermuda Triangle. That's someplace you don't want to go because bad things happen, as this is a stick that's taken out of the hand. The Calgary Flames was a backhand attempt, a kick to a teammate, and that one was missed wide there for the Jets. Nazem Kadri plays it off the wall. Coleman, he's racing down, and Hellebuck will find this near his left pad and hold on. This game has certainly turned up quick over the last couple minutes.
You know, John, it was a pretty standard NHL hockey game until about the last 90 seconds. Now it feels like a real John Cooper Hopkins production. It's getting weird, my friend, and that means good things for us for the rest of the night as we still have 2 periods and just a little bit of change to go. But that was Adam Lowry right in front. He had his stick knocked out of his hands, and so he had to kick the puck. Any other situation, he's on the doorstep with a grade A scoring chance, and it could be 2-2. But now Kadri's got an ozone draw and 57.4 on the clock.
Kadri wins it clean, straight back. Weegar wants to shoot again. I don't blame him. He just scored. This is put back around. Kadri able to get around a couple of Jets as the Flames continue to cycle. Now, near the right side wall, Kadri and Uyghur couldn't keep his eyes on the puck there. That would have been a good opportunity for him to shoot, but it's sent back around. Thankful for the Flames' couple of face-off wins. I know we talked about Igor Sharankovich. He was out there. Flames wanted him because of his speed and his ability to shoot, so we'll continue to monitor him as he goes along. That's what I know, at least. He's going to get a lot more playing time alongside Matthew Coronado, Jordan Osterley, and some other pieces.
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned Sharon Govich here because I do want to touch on his play. And it certainly looks like they had to shrink the letters on the back of his jersey. That's a longer name than I expected. That's a shoulder. We're almost going tricep to tricep there. That's a lot of characters above his number. But yes, Sharon Govich looked good on that last shift as we get set to close out the first.
It's not quite the same amount of letterage, but I do remember a former Detroit Tiger, Jared Saltalamacchia. I never know how they fit that one. Backlund will flip this one all the way down here for Nito Niederreiter. Man, it feels like he could add a couple of goals. He's been absolutely snake-bitten. Backlund will throw this back here for Mangiapane as the Jets will work this around. One more time, we fall down to 5 seconds near the right side of the line, and that will end the period. A Mackenzie Weegar goal makes it a 2-1 lead for the Flames.
Yeah, I think that the Sea of Red has to be pretty happy with this outcome. It could be 2-0 Jets. It could be 3-2 Jets. And if it weren't for one lapse in focus by number 25 in red in the crease, it would be a 2-0 lead. But definitely, I think the Calgary fans and I will certainly take this 2-1 advantage. Markstrom played well for the most part, with that one exception. As we see the replay package here from the first period, Zadorov with a great hit, some nice passing, and a great screen. The new Flame Greer gets in front.
Yes.
Hellebuck and Uyghur's beautiful top shelf shot finds the twine. So we hit the break, my friend, and man, we are back in, dare I say, mid-season form. It feels good to be back in action with you.
It does feel good, man. I don't feel like we've missed too many beats on this side. Let's go ahead with the scoring reset before I hit you with a couple out-of-town scoreboards, and then I have a couple critical questions for you as far as scheduling-wise. I got to get your thoughts. So Andrew Mangiapane opened the scoring. It was some beautiful puck movement, a couple secondary bounces. Ruzicka able to set it up. There was a good move by Jonathan Huberdeau as well. But Mangiapane at 12:29 from Ruzicka and Hannafin on the power play. And then Kyle Connor, quite frankly, I'm going to say he wanted to dump that puck in off a long shot. It was able to beat Jacob Markstrom, who was otherwise brilliant in that first period, stopping 13 out of 14. But it was Dylan Sandberg and Neil Pionk made it 1-1. And then Mackenzie Weegar off of some good puck movement, a long shot, maybe a partial screen on that side, or even a full screen against DeMello on that end for Hellebuck. But Nikita Zadorov and Walker Dewar get the assists, and the Flames have a 2-1 lead. And I know I punched this button, and the face-offs don't seem like they are in that situation, but the lead is 18-13, although the offensive zone draw, especially in the defensive areas for the Jets, they've been good. The Flames can clean that up, but for the most part, it's 14-8 shots on goal. And as Cooper said, I think you have to take it considering what could be the alternative.
Yeah, and John, that stat you just mentioned, the discrepancy in face-offs there with the 5-win advantage for the visiting Jets. You know what? That handful of face-off wins, all 5 of those were absolutely crucial, and we could essentially say they were all on the man advantage. It was a really strong power play for Winnipeg, one that they, for all intents and purposes, probably should have scored on, almost did. I would say a minimum 2, maybe 4 times, at least 2 grade A chances, close. But the Flames, they weathered the storm there, and that was when Markstrom was really at his best in the period. And then the Flames did what I was hoping they would do so many times in any number of games last year: get themselves out of the rut, right? Instead of allowing that to become the narrative of the period, they then push back. John, if you'll remember how often we talked about the Flames starting pretty well in games, also in individual periods, and then fading as that period would continue. I thought we were about to repeat that narrative tonight because with about 5 minutes to go, the Jets do tie it on a very fluky goal that gets through Markstrom. But then you have the Weegar goal, and immediately that narrative changes. So now we have something new to talk about, and we'll see if the Flames can keep the trajectory on an upward path as we head to the middle stanza and into the third.
We're going to bounce back to that game here in a moment. I'm just going to give you some of the scores that are completed before we go to the other ones. So Boston did take a 3-1 win at home in TD Garden over the Chicago Blackhawks. A little unfair off the back-to-back, but Connor Bedard gets his first goal off the wraparound. It's just by Taylor Hall and Ryan Donato. Donato's looked pretty good so far for the Chicago Blackhawks, coming from the Seattle Kraken, but it was 3 unanswered goals for the Bees. Trent Frederick and then Pasta already up to his usual work, 2 goals. And Milan Lucic, former Flame, as he comes back home, the Boston Bruins, Pasta in a retirement role, gets an assist. Lena Solmark gets the win, stops 20 out of 21, and Soderblom takes the loss, 30 out of 32 for the Blackhawks.
Yeah, John, great recap right there, and I'm glad you gave Lucic the nod, and he still has some juice left, and this is probably his last run. You figure that, him getting a deal arranged for him to go back to Boston where he made such an impact, and of course won the 2011 Stanley Cup in Vancouver in Game 7. That caused a riot. Okay. I'm sure he's happy to be back there after a nice run with the Flames. But, I will say Donato, who you mentioned, of course, being from Seattle, I followed the Seattle Kraken as well. He was a player I was not too thrilled to see leave the Kraken, and I can see why he was desired by Boston, because he's really fit right in.
We'll get to a couple more finals here, and then we'll get into our talking points. I'm just looking at the score line in particular. I know it's 5-3 Carolina with the victory, but I want to see who scores for Carolina. Who is on the score sheet? As you're looking at Rod Brind'Amour, we know how Carolina can be so good defensively, but they need to open it up a little bit offensively if they want to go ahead and lift Lord Stanley. Look, I know it's difficult for me to say that just talking into game 1 of the season, but it had to be so excruciating last year having 4 one-goal losses in the Florida Panthers. But what was it tonight? It was Michael Bunting, Teuvo Teravainen, Jordan Staal, Brady Shea, and Jacob Slavin. 5 different goal scorers for the Carolina Hurricanes as they take out Ottawa 5-3.
Yeah, and one other point to make right there is not just who the goal scorers were, which I do agree is the most important note for us to look at, but also the order in which those goals were scored, where Ottawa takes the lead with the only goal in the first period, and then going through the entire second, it's Bunting and Teravainen. So you see Carolina with that 2-1 lead heading into the third. Staal extends it to 3-1, but then Ottawa comes back and ties that thing. And then you have to watch Shea and Slavin get the game winner and then the insurance, respectively. So, Carolina Hurricanes, we were talking briefly earlier about the Devils and how a lot of pundits are looking for a deep run from them this year, potentially as the representative of the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup final. But let's not forget the Hurricanes, and they're showing that they have that experience and toughness and goal-scoring ability, which may have been a question mark in years past.
Right.
We'll see, John. We got to keep an eye on it and see if they've turned that around. Because if they do, they are going to be very scary in the East.
Yes, they are. That's what we're going to have to monitor. And as far as the goaltending situation, we talked about the free agency spectacular. Jonas Korpisalo gave up a 5 spot. He stopped 37 out of 42 as Carolina was very busy on that shot board. And again, I don't think this comes as a surprise, my friend. The scoreline does, as they do win in a shootout, the Toronto Maple Leafs. But Austin Matthews already has a hat trick, my friend.
Yeah, well, just welcome back to the Austin Matthews show. This is what happens to us, I think, for some reason, especially in hockey. You think about other sports, and the easy one to go to is the LeBron James effect, or the Steph Curry effect. We just get used to him hitting 3-point shots from 2 steps inside half court. Becomes normal because he's so good at that incredibly elite play. But this is what's happening with Austin Matthews in my mind. He's just so good year in and year out. He gets overshadowed a little bit by Connor McDavid, with good reason, because McDavid is the best of the best of the best. But Matthews is right there. He impacts every single game. When he's not in the lineup, you notice. And when he is, you for sure will notice, because usually he's celebrating with the red light on.
Yes, he is. And with the 6-5 victory, we can also talk about who scored for Montreal. Again, 5 goals and you don't win. I know that one's tough. Ilya Samsonov, he did get the victory despite only stopping 19 of 24. Jake Allen did stop 37 out of 42. But the newcomer for the Montreal Canadiens, Alex Newhook, he gets a pair.
Yeah, we're seeing some players, including Iafallo tonight with the Jets, who's looked good on a few shifts. We're seeing players in new destinations really fit in early. And you know what? That makes for more exciting hockey. There's always those times when the trades just don't seem to pan out as well. I mean, listen, that was the case, bar none, with the Flames last year and Huberdeau in particular. But this year seems to be a bit of a different story, and I like that across the league as players settle in and really get going right away.
We will get into the other out-of-town scores going into the second period, but I do have enough time in the first to be able to ask both of these questions of Cooper. But we will start with the Flames because this is our league game today. So after this game, and again, you notice this will be very noticeable for me because last year it was 8 of the first 10 games in the province of Alberta. Well, after this game against the Jets in the home opener, it's a 5-game road trip for Calgary. It's Pittsburgh, Washington, Buffalo, Columbus, and Detroit. Doesn't sound all that brutal. Again, the Detroit game will be Sunday, October 22nd at 5 p.m. Eastern. It might be difficult for Cooper and I to team up on either one of the Red Wings games because they'll be at odd times this year. But again, does the road trip, again, I'm not going to say soft serve, but at least help the Flames get their feet wet this year?
Well, it's going to inform us about a couple of things, John. It's going to tell us if the Flames can beat teams that they probably should beat. But, of course, that's not happening in a vacuum. It's happening on the road, right? So we'll get an early look at how the Flames perform outside of Alberta. And not only outside of Alberta, it's not like they're just going west of Vancouver. We're talking about an East Coast swing. So, the Capitals, I know it's a couple of games away, but they're not necessarily the team they used to be, but they will face one of the top prospects formerly of the Flames, who now has made the big squad with Washington in Matthew Phillips. I know a lot of fans were expecting him to be a piece of the Calgary Flames team moving forward. He's Johnny Gaudreau-esque in size, at least, in some of his playing style. And I think that Daryl Sutter was not too keen on bringing him up and giving him opportunities. Ultimately, it resulted in him exiting. So that's a game that I'm really curious about. I'm wondering if Phillips and the team in particular will be motivated to get the win for him. But I think the Penguins will be a great test as well. Let's not forget that Erik Karlsson landed there, coming off his Norris campaign. Crosby's still Crosby, Malkin's still Malkin. We all know, and we've been talking about it, John. We talked about it last year plenty. We all think, okay, when's the window officially closed for Pittsburgh? Well, you know what? They did miss the playoffs, kind of on a fluky loss to the moribund Chicago Blackhawks. Remember that late loss? I think it was the second to last game of the season last year, or something along those lines. I expect a different outcome. I'm not sure if they necessarily will make the playoffs, but it's a team the Flames should beat, right? Because they had very similar results. They both barely missed the playoffs, one in the East, one in the West. They both have highly talented players that underperform to a certain degree. And now it's who's going to get the better of the other. If you're about equal, can the Flames top those teams that are about your equal or maybe slightly one notch below you? So that's, I know, a little bit lengthy on just those first two games of the road swing. But, we'll get a sense early on, John, about the Flames on the road and if they can start to get some things going early in the season.
Okay, so I know you're sitting down for this, and make sure that you are, because this one's a doozy. So I'm going to give you the Red Wings' first 13 games. I won't designate home or away, but after the first 13 because they're brutal. And 9 of them are against playoff teams. 2 of them are against teams out of the 13, I should say. 11 of 13 are against teams that just missed the playoffs by 1 point. So I'm asking you, within the schedule, if I should be happy with the 7-6-0, and if this could make the Wings a playoff team. But here we go. Here's the teams. They open tomorrow against New Jersey, Tampa, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Ottawa, Calgary, Seattle, Winnipeg, Boston, Islanders, Florida, Boston, Rangers. That's the Red Wings open in the first 13 games.
Okay. All right, so here's what I want you to do for me. Let's take those one by one. All right. You name the opponent, I'm literally going to give you win-loss.
Okay.
I'm going to go straight prediction. All right, hit me.
So tomorrow, the opener against New Jersey.
Loss.
Tampa.
Win.
Columbus.
Win.
Pittsburgh.
Win.
Ottawa.
Loss.
Calgary.
Win.
Seattle.
Loss.
Winnipeg.
Win.
Boston.
Loss.
New York Islanders. Panthers.
Win.
Boston.
Win.
Rangers.
Loss.
So I have 7-6-0. We're right around that marker. You actually have maybe an extra win on that side. So according to Cooper Hopkins, I am lowballing my team maybe 2 or 3 points. So that makes me feel pretty good because going into that gauntlet, I would consider if they can go maybe 8-5 or some kind of mix in that from what you're throwing out there, that this could be a playoff team at that point. I know 13 games in, that's hard to maybe fathom, but there's not a harder schedule in the league than that.
Yeah, that is a crazy, crazy schedule, John. And I frankly did not realize it was that daunting. But I actually genuinely believe that you're going to see some surprising wins there. I do think that the Red Wings. Now, wait a second. Are they playing the Flames in Alberta or in Detroit?
I'm going to have to double check that one for you, but I believe it might be in Alberta.
Okay, I still think, and listen, we saw it happen last year. I think the Red Wings can handle the Flames, and I like them to beat some of those teams that everyone else would expect them to lose to. I actually think that there's a chance that they could take down, like, Florida. I like them. I think they had Boston twice in that span, and
Yes.
I like them to at least split that. And I think if you can do that against these teams, especially, this Atlantic Division and Metro teams, that are, listen, we're literally starting the season right now over the past 48 hours. We don't want to put anyone in Sharpie ink in the playoffs immediately. But there are some, safe bets, let's say. I think the Red Wings are taking steps forward and will be able to get wins when they're not expected, and those will be the difference makers. And I love it. I love that we're focusing on the early stretches because it so often gets forgotten. Those are the types of wins, those early upsets. You collect 2, you collect 3, you collect 5, 6, 7 over the course of the first couple of months, and that's exactly what you're talking about, John. You find yourselves in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's very important. That's why we highlighted the Calgary Flames 5-game road trip and the Red Wings' first 13 games. Again, I'll be on the call. Tomorrow is going to be a Hulu-only broadcast, so I'll be on that side. Again, I am kind of nervous tomorrow on that end for the Wings side, but we'll see what happens. I know it takes some time to gel, but when it's Dylan Larkin and it's Alex DeBrincat, I don't want to say 40 goals because I think everybody's getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, even though DeBrincat did it twice, although I understand it's Taves and Kane. But maybe 30 for Alex?
Yeah, I actually like that. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do exactly what I did with Huberdeau. I bumped him up by about 5 points overall. I'm going to go ahead and bump it up 5 goals. So why don't we say instead of 30, let's go 35?
I think that's very fair. And for the first Flames-Red Wings game, that will be at Little Caesars, my correction, at 5 p.m. Eastern on a Sunday. So I know Cooper and I did both those games last year, but they were night games more toward the side of the schedule. We might be interfering with some playoff baseball, some Seattle Seahawks, and some other stuff. So I don't know if we'll get to the Flames games and the Red Wings this year, but we'll definitely get to a lot of broadcasts nonetheless. I'll probably have Cooper work a couple Red Wings games with me just because I work a lot of Flames games.
It's John, it is far past time. I mean, it is beyond time for me to pay you back, sir. So basically you have a stocked IOU book that you can reach into at any point, and I will be there with you. But you know what? I'm genuinely excited about the Wings, too. I continue to say it. I know that they've been I don't want to say this in any harsh way, especially not to you or any Wings fan. They've been not forgotten, but just on the fringes of hockey for a little while as they've rebuilt here. And I think that they are starting to take strides. That's what I was just saying a moment ago. The kind of strides that get you really back into that spotlight, or at least near it, where you sort of demand to be discussed. And they were briefly last year when they were in a playoff spot before ultimately sliding out. But this is going to be an exciting year for the Wings, I believe. And the NHL is better when the Wings are better. And you can say it all the years, all the success, all the Stanley Cups. John, you could go down the list. And I'm sure some people would think of that and go, oh, no, just keep the Red Wings. Yeah, just keep them under our boot. Keep them at the bottom of the standings. Let somebody else have a turn. Well, guess what? The Red Wings have had to retool their entire franchise, and it's time for the Red Wings to rise back up again, and I'm excited for it.
We'll see what they do tomorrow. Do you want to take this second period?
Let's do it, John. So, of course, I just went on a nice run right there with a mini speech about the Red Wings before we kick off period number 2 here at the Scotiabank Saddledome. The Flames fans are getting back in their seats here. The sea of red with 15 seconds elapsed in the second. My name is Cooper Hopkins alongside John Ott, who, of course, set up this broadcast because he's a true professional. As the Flames try to take a page out of the Jets book, they look for that back pass on the late trailer. Now there's a tripping call coming up against Calgary. The Jets come right in, fire one up over the top of Markstrom on the glove side. It bounces off of the boards and on this fresh ice all the way back down toward the Jets end where Hellebuck has exited the crease. And now on this delayed penalty, multiple seconds going by here as the Jets are going to center this thing and it bounces away. And now finally Mangiapane will get it off his skate and to his stick blade. And a bit of an inauspicious start for the new captain, John. This is his second penalty of the night. That is Michael Backlund heading back to the box for a trip.
Little uncharacteristic there, and man, that might have been a little unlucky as well as Kyle Connor. He knew what he was doing. He just cut right across, and Backlund got the stick in the legs.
Yeah, that's a good point. It certainly did not seem deliberate by Backlund. Either way, put himself in an unfortunate position right there. He returns to the box. You know what? Let's not forget that Michael Backlund has been an effective penalty killer for the Flames for a number of years. And as he closes down, he won't get it this year, but as he closes down on potentially 1,000 games with the franchise, he's already in the third spot in all-time games played with the Flames. As 7 seconds into this power play, a shot comes in from the points. Nice shot by Schmidt right there. He did his best Justin Jefferson. He grabbed that thing he once loved, sent it across, and then the Flames had to stop the puck. There was Markstrom, of course, making the save. Now the Flames actually do win a face-off, John. We have a new status quo in the second period. Flames win a great D-zone draw, send it all the way back down to Hellebuck. With 18:50 to go here in the second period, 8 shots for the Flames, 16 for Winnipeg, a 2-1 lead for the home squad. Nice job right there by Tanev. Haven't really said his name all that much tonight, but he just does yeoman's work on the blue line for Calgary, and the puck is sent all the way back down to the big paddle of Connor Hellebuck. Now the Jets will set this thing back up. It's held right there and dropped back past their own blue line as they skate this thing forward on the rush. Flames down by a man, and the pass there is errant and will be picked up by Neil Pionk as he retreats toward his own goaltender. Gets the pass right back with now 1 minute and 5 seconds to go in this power play, the first of the second period for Winnipeg. Nice stick handling right there by Kyle Connor. He was robbed earlier by a nice stick check from behind by Blake Coleman. Otherwise, he would have had a clear shot right on from dead center in the slot in front of Markstrom. 50 seconds to go now here in the power play. At Scotiabank, nice job right there by the Jets stepping around one of the Flames defenders. There's a shot that goes off of Tanev's skate. He can't find it. It's recollected by Iafallo, the new Jet, former King, of course, and sent back to the blue line. That one's pushed across by Morrissey, and now it goes back to Morrissey. Fakes the half slapper. He goes down low. Now he will slap shot, and that one is rebounded. Markstrom can't find it, but the rebound shot goes wide and all the way back down the ice. 22 seconds to go here in the power play. The Flames trying to get out of this thing right now, trying to maintain their 1-goal lead as the puck bounces toward Markstrom's paddle. He taps it along, and it is cleared right there. Mangiapane picks it up, and now the Flames will try to carry this thing out, but ultimately will dump it in and try to kill the remaining seconds of the man advantage for the Jets. 3 seconds on the clock now, 2-1, and the penalty kill is successful. 17:07 to go here in the second, but the Jets are right back in, and a deflection goes wide of Markstrom right there. It was a one-handed attempt. Couldn't get a number on the shooter, but there's a point-blank rip from Connor, and he is denied again. The frustration has to be mounting for number 81.
Well, he's got one on a long shot there, and you feel like if he didn't get that one, he probably should have got this one. Beautiful puck movement by Rick Bowness' squad right in the middle of the circles on a bomb for Kyle Connor, and he is denied point-blank by Markstrom. That's great stuff.
Yes, absolutely, John. Thank you for correcting me. I didn't mean to insinuate that Connor hasn't gotten on the score sheet tonight. He literally is the only Jet who has. That was that wrister that found its way through Markstrom sort of unexpectedly in the first period to make this game 1-1 at the time before Weegar got the lead back for the Flames to make it 2-1. But right now, there's 16:40 to go here in the second. And, yeah, John, you make a great point. Connor alone could have 3 goals in this contest if it weren't for Markstrom. So 17 shots to 8. Winnipeg still leads by a large margin in that category. And that's something that, John, volume of shots doesn't necessarily equate success, but when you only have 8 here, and now a number of minutes have elapsed here with the puck bouncing right in front, it squirts out to Markstrom's right. I thought that'd be handled pretty calmly by the Flames defense, but it was remaining in the slot area for a little longer than was comfortable, and I believe we'll have an icing here. But 16:15 to go. Either way, the Flames still collecting themselves a bit as we get into the meat of this second period.
And that pass across from Markstrom behind the net was able to be kept in by the Jets and then partially deflected for a dangerous chance.
A little unlucky right there. Zadorov kind of got the puck trapped up in between his skates. I think he was trying to get that considerably long stick and the stick blade down on the puck to clear it. He couldn't do so. Now there's another shot that bounces around the boards. I believe that's barely kept in at the near point. Now tapped along by Kupari. And a nice bank pass off the board goes to the left point. Now Markstrom sliding left to right. Good job by the Jets here. They look the stronger of the two teams here early in the second, and that slapper goes wide to Markstrom's blocker side. It is cleared out by Ruzicka. The Flames will chip this one along. No icing, and the Flames will change. Puck is picked up by Nino Niederreiter and dropped along. Good forecheck right there by Mangiapane. Backlund's back on the ice, of course. He tried to chop that thing out of the air, couldn't do so, and I believe the Winnipeg Jets have come in just offside as we get a shot of the Calgary skyline, John. It's still a 2-1 lead, but the Flames looking a little tenuous right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing some of the same things with the face-off circle on the Jets to get some puck possession. Nino Niederreiter would be the one if we're talking about snake biting. I feel like he's been all around it all game so far.
Yeah, here's a stat, courtesy of Sportsnet. This is not something the Flames are extremely proud of from last year. The sub-900 team save percentage, they were at .890, which actually wasn't necessarily the worst in the league, but that was below the 20th spot. I think it was the 21st or 22nd ranking. And we take a look at Markstrom's comparison, 21 to 22. Save percentage was .922, and then last year that drops all the way to .892. He also had 9 shutouts in 21-22, and just the one last season. So even if he can split the difference there this year, and let's say get 4 or 5, that would be a big boon for his team. So right now, again, the Jets have possession. They're going to send this one through, but the puck cannot make its way through Flames' bodies, and this one will land on the stick of Michael Backlund. Nice 45-degree angle back pass right there, and Hannafin sends this thing along past Hellebuck. The Flames will try to collect there with Coleman and Backlund in the near corner, and Scheifele is there as well, puck in between some skates and stick blades. Flames fans not really in this second period so far, as the team hasn't necessarily made much of an offensive push. Again, just 8 shots. They're being doubled up. 19 shots for the Winnipeg Jets, and there's a bouncing puck right there. We'll see if that counts on the shot board. Loose puck there, and Mangiapane pushes one of the Jets away, who was flying in toward Markstrom. And it was Kupari. He's been pretty noticeable here in the first 5 minutes or so, as we have 14:49 to go in the second.
Yes, Cooper, I'm keeping my eyes on now that I've switched to the color side of the former LA Kings. I want to see how they fit in with this group that can provide a lot of offense. We've seen Scheifele, we've seen Connor, we've seen Morrissey, but how will the rest fit?
Absolutely. So Cole Perfetti goes up against Elias Lindholm and the Flames as they needed to right there. They do win that D-zone draw. Puck goes to Hellebuck's right and then eventually slides through the trapezoid behind him. And now the puck is way up in the air underneath the big reader board at the Scotiabank Saddledome. It will be collected by Tanev and tapped out to Dubé. He tries to go between the legs right there. A bit of a mistake, as now it's a turnover. Morrissey's going to send that one along. Markstrom dives, but the shot was whiffed on right there. Morrissey, I thought, was going to shoot, but he sends it through the crease. And John actually didn't get a number on the Jet who had that shot attempt and just basically whipped through the air on that thing. And now Lindholm carries it in. And Dubé has it at the near board. He's going to look to drop this one. There's a late arriving Uyghur. He goes for the shot right there. And now Niederreiter's stick is on the ice. Not sure if that is a broken stick. It must be, as he has completely abandoned it. And now it's almost like a de facto power play. Well, it is. Certainly, it's because it's a delayed penalty call. I look up, John. I see on the Chiron right there that it is a delayed penalty against the Jets as the Flames shot attempt by Kadri goes off a leg. And Calgary will collect, but it bounces off of a stick and to the Jets. It will be another power play for the Calgary Flames coming up.
We'll see if Dylan DeMello is going to be the guilty party or Josh Morrissey. I'm trying to listen in on Rick Ball and Kelly Hurdy on the TV side of the coverage here. We'll see what we actually call. So I see Morrissey off of a slap, and that was Cole Perfetti that fanned on it. Man, he had a wide open opportunity.
Yes, he did. Markstrom, I think, rightfully had to dive, believing that shot was going to be snapped right on. But boy, that was just a whiff. I'm not really even sure if it was a bouncing puck. It looked like a nice cross-ice pass through the crease to the right circle to Perfetti from Morrissey, and a dangerous play right there. And I think it has to be said, John, the run of play really has been on the Jets' stick so far in the second.
Yes, it has. Again, it's been the face-off situation, but now we'll see if the Flames can do something on the power play. They've already got one of these here. I got to ask you something. I know it's hockey related, not part of this broadcast, but I got a chance to see Ryan Huska a couple times and get the mental image. And I'm trying to think who he looks like because everyone has lookalikes. Do you remember on NBC Sports Network Pierre Maguire? Can we get those guys side by side?
Oh my gosh, you know what? Now that you say it, I'm not going to be able to unsee it. That is a very apt comparison, my friend. Wow, that is, we're in doppelganger territory. It might as well be Pierre McGuire behind the bench for the Flames. That's a good one.
I'm glad that you thought that too, because I'm just wondering. I'm racking my brain here trying to figure that out. I want to make sure I asked you that.
You know, it's interesting. That happens a lot to me where I'll see, it could be an actor or a musician or someone else. Oh, this looks like that person, or this actor looks like somebody else, or oh, this person looks like someone I know. I don't know if I ever would have made the connection had you not said it, but now I see it 100% right. It looks like Pierre Maguire's brother. That's insane.
We'll see if Ryan Huska can get his first victory as a coach for the Calgary Flames here. I like what I've seen. I understand the Jets are a very good team on both sides, and I don't want to discredit Calgary. You've done a lot of these broadcasts. I think it's been a well-played hockey game so far, and I think this power play could loom large.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but the Flames taking potentially a 3-1 lead here would be really crucial as we are back underneath the action, which is a John Ott trademark. Has a nice attempt right there from Kadri to get the puck through the blue paint and over to Coronado is denied. I think it bounced off the skate and slowly to Hellebuck, who covers up. So just 8 seconds elapsed here in the Flames power play. 13:33 to go in the second. The Flames first unit stays on. And Lindholm will face off against Lowry. Lowry will win this thing. It does get back to the corner. A trip right there. I think Kadri's looking for a call. Not going to get it. And worth noting as well, as the Flames are on their third power play, as Rasmus Anderson now, as Markstrom handles the puck. I think Anderson was just chirping with Lowry right there in the middle of the play. I want to keep an eye on that. But the Flames 1 for 2, and this now their third power play. Nice drop back to Rasmus Anderson. He's going to try to chip this one along. He's in that Bermuda Triangle area, as we were talking about. John, we could also call it the Scotiabank Saddledome sinkhole if we want to go with alliteration. And there's a turnaround shot right there by the Flames. Coronado is trying to get involved as a shooter tonight, but couldn't get that one through cleanly. The puck does bounce back to Anderson. He chips it off the far boards. 1 minute, 5 seconds to go in the man advantage for Calgary. That one's passed across to Lindholm, who was just a little too deep in on the play. And there's Rasmus with a snapshot from the blue line from Swede to Swede. And that's the play right now as Lindholm goes back and forth with Anderson. Lindholm holds at the half boards. That one actually goes through Huberdeau's legs, but right to Rasmus Anderson once again. He will drop off for Coronado, make that Kadri. Now Coronado has it. He'll turn and fire. Boy, he has the green light, John, but he can't find the net right there. Good save by Hellebuck. 41 seconds in the power play.
I know you said it a little bit in the first there. Coronado with a sharp angle shot, and he likes his spot. He gets into a good area. You're inside the circles. Go ahead and fire it, my friend. He's looked good so far.
Now, listen, dare I say, and this is irreplaceable. I mean, Johnny Gaudreau is Johnny Gaudreau. There is no facsimile. He is who he is, and I still am so jealous that the Blue Jackets have him. But Coronado doing some things that ring a bell. It's not Pierre Huska. I call it Pierre Huska. It's not Ryan Huska. Pierre McGuire. But I think Coronado doing a Johnny Gaudreau impression is not necessarily a bad thing, as he has the skills potentially to take on that role, which has been vacated by old number 13 a couple seasons ago. And the puck vacates the zone right there, courtesy of the Jets. They play some nice defense, intercepting a pass. And time starts to wind down here on this third power play for Calgary. It's carried in by Mangiamane. Nice pass through some Jet legs right there. Just 5 seconds to go here. Ruzicka can't handle this, and now the Jets are going to try to break out as they get Perfetti back on the ice, full strength now, both sides, and that backhand pass almost bounced right in underneath Markstrom's right pad. So 11 shots for the Flames. I believe they had 2 officially on the power play. Both, if I am correct, I believe are going to be credited to Coronado. So 11:22 to go is a nice stretch pass right there. Bounces all the way up into the Jets zone. Good forechecking right there, but Mangiapane's looked great forechecking tonight. He holds that thing in, and there is a cross-ice pass that goes whistling past Sharon Govich, a name that I want to call more. I'd love to see him more involved, a little more ice time. That's one thing I'm curious about, John, when we get to the end of this contest. I want to see those ice time numbers in this first contest of the year for the Flames. Weegar picks up the puck to Markstrom's left as it trickled all the way down from right to left. And worth mentioning at this juncture, Flames moving left to right on your radio dials in this period. The Winnipeg Jets in their white away jerseys moving right to left. So 10:40 to go here. Puck picked up by Nikita Zadorov. He's going to carry this thing out of his own zone. He's on the backhand now near the penalty boxes, and we'll flip this thing in, go for the partial change. Sharon Govich stays out there right now, puts some pressure on Hellebuck, who back passes it around the corner boards and all the way back down to the Flames end. Hannafin picks up, looks to stretch pass to a teammate. It is connected. Huberdeau goes all the way across ice. Lindholm tried to corral it with the skate, but deflected it away from himself. The Flames do keep possession, and there's a puck that shot right on. The Mangiapane looking for a rebound. There is none. That was Hannafin from way out. Hellebuck says no.
I just want to say this because we're about 30 minutes of the broadcast right now. There was many times last year throughout the broadcast when I would say Huberdeau's name in a negative light. I'm not seeing any of those reoccurrences here through the first 30.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, John. And there's a shot of Sharon Govich right there. The 141st overall pick in 2018 by the Devils. Now he's a Calgary Flame. I like what I've seen so far and hope he continues to get chances as the Flames try to create chances for themselves right now as we reach the halfway mark of the second. Boy, Anderson tried to play that with a high stick and neutral ice for the Flames and went over his blade. But now here comes Huberdeau. Not a breakaway necessarily, but he has the room to work with as he enters the offensive zone. Now the puck is back on his stick. Tanev with it. He's looking for a teammate. Keeps that in at the blue line. Mangiapane can't corral it in the trapezoid behind the Jets netminder. It will be taken away by Winnipeg. So 4-on-3 here as Flames try to collect themselves in the defensive zone. There's a shot that gets through bodies. Not sure if Markstrom saw it. I actually didn't see it until it ricocheted out all the way back toward Hellebuck. And one of the Flames blew a tire there, allowing the Jets to carry right back in. Full slapper right there from the Jets. That one was a full wind-up, old-school style, John, put wide by Ehlers. The Jets will keep possession for the time being with 9 minutes and 10 seconds to go now in the second period, with the Flames hanging on to a skinny 2-1 lead at home as Kadri is dispossessed right there neatly by the Jets, and carrying the puck in is going to be Iafallo. He's a name I know you're watching as he gets the puck down low, John. Tries to turn around and deflect that thing. Great defense by Tanev, wearing the A on his jersey for a reason. Great cancel right there on a good goal scorer. But the Jets are cycling right now, and another glove stop right there by the Jets captain, and again, John, it's a deflection goal that ties this game. It felt like it was bound to happen. It's put in by none other than the former King, Iafallo himself. 2-2.
That was a great catch out of the middle of the air by, I believe, the newly minted captain, Adam Lowry, that kept the puck possession alive. And then I think it might have been a deflection upon the first look. So this is gloved down by Lowry. Brilliant back pass, and then Iafallo right on the doorstep for a tip. That is a gorgeous goal.
Yeah, there is absolutely no complaint from me, and I am a lifelong diehard Calgary Flames fan. That is a beautiful deflection right there. Nothing Markstrom could have done about it. There's Jets fans right there in the front row on the other side of the glass enjoying that celebration by the team that they came to see. So I do say, John, it feels almost fitting. It should be tied right now. The Jets have been the better of the two teams for the majority of this second period, and now the scoreboard reflects it at 2-2. They also have 21 shots to the Flames 12. 8 minutes, 20 seconds to go here in the second. And surprise, surprise, Jets doing a good job of possessing the puck once again as they carry in. That is on the stick of Nate Schmidt, but I believe the Jets are just offsides. We'll get a stoppage in play.
So as we go to the commercial break here, Cooper, I just have to say it because we've done so many of these. Yet another Flames game that feels like it's a tie now, but it's another one on a knife's edge, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a compelling game between two good teams. Of course, the Jets were able to sneak into the playoffs last year. A bit of an unforgettable run for them, if you can even call it that. But they deserve respect, and they're playing like a team that's certainly capable of making the playoffs again, don't you think?
Yeah, and I'm looking at the score sheet right now between both teams. Again, you got Mangiapane and Wigger for the Flames. You got Connor and Iafallo. Connor is really one of the only big names for both teams that have found himself on the score sheet so far. So we'll see if it flips the other way for Mark Scheifele or Jonathan Huberdeau or Nazem Kadri, because we're going to probably need a couple more goals here.
Yeah, I think you're right. And again, I think back to the first period, and you just said his name, Huberdeau. I liked what I saw from him with the man advantage. The special teams play seemed to have a little more jump to it, a little more confidence and decisiveness. And those are words that we're missing far too often from his game last year. I don't want to put too much pressure on Huberdeau. I want to ease him back in like an injured animal, like a pet that had to go to the veterinarian and needs to get its cast off. And we can't roughhouse with him too much, John. We gotta be gentle. But I'd like to see Huberdeau give me a little more on the 5-on-5. So perhaps as we get further into this game, maybe my analogy will fall by the wayside, and he will take the bull by its horns and grab the game and potentially make an impact. So we're getting a little recap right now of Adam Lowry, who you were right is the newly minted captain.
I like this.
Yes, we're showing him formerly with wearing the A, now he's got the C. Potentially it's because he knocks his opponents out. That's saw of him kicking some you-know-what of the Minnesota Wild.
That's great work by the Jets Instagram. We love that.
Absolutely. So tip of the cap there to the Jets social media team. Now we have a loose puck in front. Looks like, I almost said Huberdeau, that's going to be Markstrom, the big netminder for Calgary. He slides out of the crease and covers up to stop play. We'll have another face-off in the Flames' end.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I know you said this earlier here. I'm not going to say the Flames fans are kind of sitting on their hands, but they're kind of waiting to see a little bit of a pushback here from Calgary.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit overdue in this period. Not too many excellent scoring chances to speak of as the Flames trying to possess here with Dubé, and this pass goes cross-ice to the near side, going to be taken up the right wing right there. Rasmus Andersson avoids a check from Connor and sends it around. And the Flames do a good job forechecking at the far half boards. That's Coleman. He's done some good work tonight. One of the Jets goes down now. Multiple players goes down. I believe that was Velarde. My gosh, I thought it was number 18, but it was number 13 for the Jets. And boy, again, delayed penalty coming up against the Flames. Hellebuck to the bench. 7:28 to go, and there's a shot behind Markstrom. He can't find it. He turned around 180 degrees. It bounces off the glass, and then to Hannafin, who touches up. So, boy, Flames moving the wrong direction right here, you have to say, John.
You got 3 penalties aside for both teams. Now we'll take a look at it near the right side boards, and wow, that's a big-time cross-check by Dubé against DeMello.
Yeah, I was talking about NHL 98 earlier, and apparently Dylan Dubé heard me and thought those were the rules, that you could still do that and blatantly cross-check somebody in the lumbar spine from behind. Not allowed. So 2 minutes on the board. The Jets will take this power play gladly as they snap it into the far circle. Puck is bouncing, but kept in right there by Winnipeg. It's touched along to the far corner. Boy, another instance of good cycling, good puck position, smart passing here by the Jets. They're showing some patience. Get this down low to Markstrom's left. 1:40 to go in the power play. There's a snapshot right in front. And looking skyward is, again, I just can't, Velarde. I keep forgetting Velarde. I think I'm seeing 18. It's 13. There is no 18 literally on the Jets. It's Gabe Velarde. And he puts that one into Markstrom, and he covers up the rebound for the stoppage.
You can talk about it again. They mentioned it, whether it's Amazon Web Services or not. Slot save percentage. That's another one for Markstrom.
Yeah, he has stopped some clean top-end scoring attempts tonight from the Jets, and has really only let in that one flubber from Connor in the first period. The second goal right there, another snapshot, that may have deflected off of Markstrom's shoulder. That second goal was from Iafallo on a beauty deflection. Now 1:15 to go here in the power play. The puck comes to the near half boards. It's taken right there up top by Morrissey. Now it's down low. Flames try to clear it. Can't. But I believe we're going to get a whistle here. I believe the referee thought the puck was trapped by Markstrom, so play is dead.
That one might have taken a chunk out of Markstrom nonetheless, but that's another howitzer from Connor.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was really close right there. Meager having some words with his counterparts from Manitoba. Yeah, Markstrom, boy, he has been feeling it tonight. Hopefully none of those have missed the pads because, man, he's getting peppered right now.
Yeah, this puck movement, as you said, it's been brilliant on this side. It's very hard to believe, considering I know we've done a couple Jets games, but it's very hard to believe they haven't scored on the power play yet.
Yep, that's a great point, John. And they have about 70 seconds of which to do so here on this man advantage. Velarde now with 11 minutes on the ice, 7 shots credited to him of the 24 that the Jets have overall. So there is another howitzer from the right slot, and that one, I believe, goes off Markstrom as well. Now, Lindholm streaking, doesn't shoot because he was being pushed wide, but he finds the trailer, and it's 3-2 Calgary! Anderson picks the top corner, Swede to Swede. Give me the shorty, says Raz Anderson, 3-2 Flames.
I cannot believe that. Thank you, Jacob Markstrom. That's what the Flames fans have to be saying. I'm not sure what Mark Scheifele's talking about. Are we maybe getting an offside situation?
Oh, I'm not sure, John. I'm so curious and hopeful that's not the case. Markstrom, he has been everywhere for the Flames tonight. And yes, I believe we're going to get a check for offside, but Lindholm possesses the puck. Anderson coming late, and he absolutely snipes past Hellebuck's blocker just up top at the near the shoulder. And that was a beautiful shot. And actually, I think it's not going to be an offside call, but potentially a puck played with a high stick. We're getting a shot of bonus right now. John, did you see any official replays being viewed?
I don't see it yet, but when Rasmus Anderson tried to clear that one out after the march, it was a ripper from Scheifele. He goes ahead and plays it with the shaft of the stick. It looks clean, and then a rush in the other end. We're under play, my friend. What a great job by Rasmus Anderson.
Yeah, a shorthanded goal for his first of the season, and my, oh my, was that a snipe. That was a beautiful shot right there. Burns Hellebuck on the right side, and still 30 seconds here to go for the Jets on this power play. So the Flames have to be careful as the Jets right there are able to keep the puck in, but now the Flames collect and are able to knock the puck back to the neutral ice. Now, Perfetti right there. Boy, guess who again? It's Big 16. Zadorov says good night to Perfetti. Cole goes to the ice right where the Big Flames defenseman put the first check of the game on, and just about 10 seconds into this contest. And now the Jets carry in, and this will deflect up and over the glass fairly. No penalty this time. That one just deflects, bounces up and over as we get the shot of Zadorov right there. Dubé will be out of the box. Penalty has been killed. Flames score on the Jets power play. The Jets with nothing, surprisingly, because they've looked so good with the special teams on the ice, John. We hit the break, and boy, I am energized by that goal, making it 3-2, courtesy of Rasmus Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, my friend, with some of my reactions, I didn't mean to step all over you. But again, it was Connor and Scheifele right on the doorstep. Markstrom slot one-timer saves. Rasmus Anderson plays it out of the air with the stick. They get the pass across alongside to set it up for Lindholm, and then the trailer, after making the defensive play, Rasmus Anderson wide open in the middle of the slot with a sick snipe. And then in the very end, before they go to the break, a little how you doing from Nikita Zadorov to Cole Perfetti. He got smashed like a sandwich.
Yeah, he did. He got smashed like a sandwich sitting on a car seat. There. You sit down and and you're not so sure if you want to eat that sandwich anymore. But yeah, Perfetti was absolutely blasted. And boy, that seems to be Zadorov's spot so far in this game. He is taken out with beautiful, clean, hard hits. A couple of the Winnipeg Jets tonight, and that's the kind of combination you need. It's basically putting a stamp on it, saying not only are we going to take the lead, but we're going to push you around. We're not going to let you try to even get back in this thing. The Jets have not led in this game, and it appears the Flames don't want to let them.
I got to remind everybody and remind myself that it's night one, but I'm looking at it plain as day. I'll just give you the numbers. Markstrom, 23 out of 25. Hellebuck, 10 out of 13. Markey's outplaying Hellebuck on the other end. It's a really good sight to see so far.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, John. And boy, we're getting another replay here as we get back to the broadcast. Anderson absolutely wired that wrister. I mean, that's pretty. That's going to be on his highlight reel for sure, and it's going to be at or near the top. what a beautiful connection. Lindholm doing a great job right there to draw attention. And was still discussion at the Jets bench about what they thought was a puck being played with a high stick back at the other end of the ice, but it will be all for naught. We are well beyond that scenario, my friends. It's 3-2 Calgary officially with 5:10 to go here in the second. Just 13 shots, the Baker's dozen for the Flames, 25 for the visitors. And this puck now is on the stick of Dubé. He stick handles in, stops near the corner on the near side. Doing a good job to dance around right there. Boy, I thought he was going to try to go backhand, forehand. He's tied up right now with one of the Jets defenders, and that is a messy situation. I thought there might be a penalty call. That was Sandberg right there, and here comes Winnipeg the other way. It's a 4-on-3. That one looks to be centered, but the Jets go down right there. It's based on Appleton behind Markstrom. A couple players going down with Greer in the mix, and Markstrom has the puck covered up right near the left post.
Look like this might start to get a little nasty a little bit because honestly, Dylan Sandberg, he's lucky he didn't get called for a hook and a hold against Dylan Dubé. He also got him by the back of the head.
Yeah, that was kind of a strangely developing play there behind Hellebuck to that netminder's right. I thought there was going to be a pretty easy call right there. He seemed to be tied up and holding in the corner, as you just pointed out, John, but no call. And worth mentioning here, again, courtesy to the Sportsnet stats team, the Flames 11-6-1 against the Jets here in Alberta. So trying to double up their win versus loss total, get that 12th win over their past contests against their Jets opponent. So the Flames right now with Dewar on the ice, and it's going to be held right there by, I believe that's Sharon. Nope, that's not Sharon Govich. I'm getting everybody's numbers right, John. That was Greer, I think. Ruzicka on the ice as well. Tanev there right dropping back into his own end, and Markstrom watches the puck float to his left. Jets do a good job right there at forechecking. Now Tanev comes away with it looking for an outlet pass. 4:05 to go here in the second. Again, 3-2 recently. The Flames take the lead courtesy of Rasmus Andersson, and an icing right there as the connection couldn't be made. And the Flames will have to keep their current line out on the ice. It's a face-off coming up near Markstrom.
Got to be honest, my friend, it's always fun to do a broadcast with you. It's the first of ours for the season, but this game has been very, very good so far.
Yeah, it has. And it's had a lot of back and forth action, not just literally on the ice. There's a snapshot right there. It doesn't make it to the Flames defenders, but it's also had back and forth action just in terms of momentum. You know, the Jets have looked good for long stretches or at least extended periods, and then the Flames will find a way to grab a hold of this thing. And even though they haven't necessarily had as long of stretches as the Jets have in controlling the game, they've done what they needed to do, and they have the lead as a result. But here's a turnover right there, and the Jets will chip this one around, looking to possess right here. The puck is held in by Connor, and the puck now bounces out of play, and we will have a face-off with 3.5 to go in the middle period.
Well, Andrew Mangiapane's already got his name on the score sheet, and after a turnover there, I thought that was a good defensive play to knock that in the players' bench against Kyle Connor, who's dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor has looked dangerous all night and probably should be on the score sheet to an even greater degree than he already is. So it's going to be Kadri with the responsibility trying to win this D-zone draw. And I keep saying it, but boy, the Jets just, again, doubling up exactly. There's Flames on the shot board, 26-13, as they hold the puck in right here and try to get this from far to the near boards, and it bounces out into neutral ice. Dylan Sandberg backtracks to collect. And now the puck towards the red line at center ice. Coronado carries in. He's going to leave it for Kadri, but I believe he skated himself offside. Coronado did, so a stoppage once again.
Yeah, might have a couple Flames offsides on that one. They're showing Mark Scheifele career high set last season, 42 goals, 12 power play, 10 game winners, and 206 shots. That's like me when I like to play NHL. I just love to shoot the puck in the slot and score goals.
Hey, what's wrong? That's why we play, right? That's why we fire up the PlayStation. Hey, defense is great, but we want to see the lamp lit. And it has been 3 times by the Flames tonight, twice by the Jets. And now Tanev's going to snap one on. It's deflected right there. Sharon Govich is the best chance of the night. And it's handled well by Hellebuck. And then puck is pushed to the near corner boards. Now it's deflected out. Nice 45-degree angle pass right there, collected by the Jets. But they immediately turn it over. Now a bouncing puck goes back to Kadri. Kadri sets up where Lindholm did, where he found Andersson for the goal. Now the puck is passed right through the crease. Coronado had a chance right there to get it on Hellebuck, but didn't get a shot away. And boy, John, we're going to have some interesting scores to talk about here as we get closer and closer to the second intermission. In fact, we are now 2 minutes and 22 seconds away from it. Flames still looking for shot number 14 tonight. Boy, good efficiency. 3 goals on just the 13 shots, and the Jets will chip this one all the way to the corner to Markstrom's left so they can get a change in. Nice abrupt stop right there by Tanev, wearing number 8 for the Flames. Bouncing puck at the Flaming Sea at center ice will be taken by Winnipeg and sent in. No icing. So chasing after the puck now is Iafallo. A couple of Jets in the trapezoid behind Markstrom, who has his head on the swivel. Now the Flames take it away, but they cannot clear it out. And I love these active shift times right now. Boy, Tanev and Osterley have been out there for now pushing 2 minutes. They cross the 90-second mark as Markstrom comes out from behind his crease and stops the puck with a stoppage of play. And man, Huska really does look like Pierre McGuire, John.
Yeah, we're getting another penalty. This one's going to go against the Calgary Flames.
Wow, I apologize. That hooking call now I did not even notice. As we get a replay of the bouncing puck, I see it was redirected by a skate. Otherwise, Coronado's right in on that thing. And the hooking call will go against, is that Mangiapane right there, John? Is he heading to the box? Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Another 2-minute power play for the Jets.
And this is right at the worst time after the Flames have just scored. See if they can kill it.
Yep, so 1 minute and 38 seconds to go here. Hooking again to Mangiapane at 18-18. And now, boy, just like they have all night, there's a shot in from the Jets as they possess to start this power play. It's held in yet again by Josh Morrissey, and a bouncing puck with a down-and-out Markstrom. Boy, he was throwing the blocker up trying to stop that thing, and he's flailing around. Luckily, it goes wide if you're a Flames fan. Now it bounces off the shot from the end boards all the way to the far corner. It's backhanded along by Iafallo. He's been noticeable tonight. Nice check right there by Lindholm, of all people, number 28. The forward, the top center for the Flames, throws the body right there. And boy, Michael Backlund just playing with fire, no pun intended, put a little cross check on right there. That could have been called. It was not. 1 minute, 12 seconds to go here. We are inside 1 minute to play in the period. And the Jets are cycling. They're at the far circle. Now the far half boards. Now go back to Morrissey. Morrissey really captaining these power plays under deflection right in front, point blank range. And Markstrom puts the big pad on it and denies the Jets with 35 seconds to go in the period. Make that the 27th shot for the Winnipeg Jets. And 45 seconds to go here in the power play. Morrissey stays out. They're keeping this first line out there are the Jets. And the Flames will look to collect as the puck goes speeding along the end boards and now bounces out and past the Jets at the blue line. 16 seconds in the period. Puck is collected by Nate Schmidt. 30 seconds to go in the power play. So if they don't score here in the next 10 seconds, the Jets, they will start the third period on the man advantage. They have the puck right there centered. And again, it's a shot right on. And the rebound is denied. 3 shots in a row, John. Stonewalled by Markstrom to get his team to the room with the lead. Absolutely astounding stops as the period expires. How did the Jets not score? I will never know.
Well, there's a heroic shot block within the middle of it. I want to make sure that I get this right on the replay. I think that was Rasmus Anderson. They got a piece of the first couple left pad stops and getting over to the left just at the last second to Rob Perfetti. Markstrom's been on one today.
Oh, my goodness, John. If it weren't for that one fluke goal in the first period, this is one of the best classic Jacob Markstrom performances I've seen probably in a couple of seasons. I'm glad Sportsnet put up the comparison because he's looking tonight. Other than that one little brief lapse, he's looking tonight like the Markstrom of 21-22, not last season.
So I know the personnel is a little bit different, but I just want to go back to the point you just made. This could be a situation, I know it's an easy question to answer, but this is a situation if Markstrom plays like this, Flames are going to find themselves in the postseason again.
Boy, this has shades also of a team that we covered during the playoffs, John. The Seattle Kraken, the reason I bring them up is, of course, we were just stunned in the best way possible, as was most of the hockey world, by the play of Philip Grubauer.
Right.
He was dialed in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And the question for the Kraken, and I know we're talking about a different team now here briefly, but just to make an analogy, of course, that kind of play is going to be what's needed if the Kraken are going to return to the playoffs and get further than they did last season in the semi-round. But you know what? You know who has that capability as well? You just pointed him out. We're talking about him. We're watching him play tonight. It's Jacob Markstrom. If he can find, and we always say this, we always find somebody where we say if he can get to 70-80% of his old form. We talked about the Rangers in that classic playoff game that we covered a couple seasons past. If they could have played that way, 70, even 80% of what they gave in that first game, the rest of the series, they would have won that series. Now we think about flashing forward. If Jacob Markstrom can be 70, even 80% of what he was, not last season, but 2 seasons prior, good things are coming for the Flames.
Yeah, because let's just be honest about it. It's 28 shots on goal to 14 in favor of the Jets. They may go 0 for 4 in the power play. They got 10 seconds to carry over time. But at times, especially in that second period or any of these power plays, the Flames have done what they needed to do to clear the puck down the zone. Yes, at points. But on this power play opportunities for the Jets, it kind of feels like they're the only ones on the ice just practicing against Markstrom.
Yeah, John, it's been fascinating to watch, and beyond that, it's hope-inducing. It brings a new layer of positivity to someone like myself who, listen, I didn't have outright doubts about Markstrom. Obviously, he was going to be the number one starter. Obviously, he's going to be tasked with being in net for the majority of the Flames games, barring things that I won't even say it. I won't even tempt fate. But this is a different level. It's not just getting by with your goaltending. It's having the goaltending returning to be a primary strength. And I don't care if it's regular season or playoffs. You and I both know, any even casual fan knows, a good goaltender is going to take a team a long, long way.
Yeah, and he's certainly looking like that even more so right now in the second period. A couple fantastic goals. Again, Alex Iafallo got a chance right on the doorstep, able to finish that off. I mean, again, you can't stop that because he gets like a double deflection after some beautiful puck movement, drive-by scores, assisted by DeMello and Lowry. And then Rasmus Andersson, after a couple remarkable stops by Markstrom, and yes, we can't punch that button enough, Rasmus plays it out of the air with the stick. It gets sent up quickly, and then wide open in the middle of the slot, Rasmus Andersson cruises in, cool as a cucumber, finishes it, double post and in. That was a fantastic goal for Rasmus Andersson, and that makes me happy because he's definitely one of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure he's someone that you may have been aware of and may not have ever spent literally hours studying by force, courtesy of your broadcast partner. But you know what? It's true. And, even if I weren't a Flames fan, I'd like to believe that I would be aware of the fact that Rasmus Andersson is an excellent top-end blue liner in this league, and does not get the kind of recognition. Listen, he's probably never going to win a Norris. He doesn't look like an Erik Karlsson. He doesn't look like a Brent Burns. He doesn't even look like or play like a Mark Giordano in his Norris year from several seasons ago when he was still a Flame. But what he does very, very well. He also brings, as we just saw in spades, he brings a real offensive awareness and ability. And other than a couple lapses every season, one moment here and there, everyone's going to have a hiccup. Rasmus Andersson is reliable, and that's what makes him exciting to watch. Not only do you have the fundamentals, but you get the exciting plays too.
So let's go into our out-of-town scoreboard, and I'm not going to say shocker for you because when I make you have to predict those postseason predictions in our free agency frenzy, you had Vancouver sneaking in. And, I'm just kidding a little bit on that side. But I'm not kidding about the score line. 5-1 Vancouver over Edmonton.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we both saw it during the broadcast, John. I think when Sportsnet was coming back from one of the commercial breaks, we saw a very brief highlight package of some of the early goals from the Canucks. And my, oh my, Brock Besser, mid-season form, anybody? He just ripped a top-shelf corner cheese shot right past Cam Talbot. No, excuse me, that Cam Talbot's in Los Angeles. I'm thinking of all sorts of former goaltenders. But no matter what, the Oilers, they may have an issue in net. That may be their weak link, but I don't care. If the Canucks are going to make shots like Besser did and put up these kind of quality tallies, I don't know what you can do. I don't care who you are.
You got Connor Garland open the scoring from Elias Pettersson and Noah Juleson, and then Brock Besser 3 in a row with the natural hat trick. JT Miller already a couple points. Elias Pettersson with a couple points. Kuzmenko the same. and then Pedersen on the power play from Quinn Hughes and JT Miller. The one thing that we knew about the Vancouver Canucks, and we know Thatcher Demko was injured. We know at this point of the year that their defensive pairings are going to have to be done by committee because they're dealing with some injuries. But Cooper, they can score the biscuit here. And 5 goals, look, I understand that Jack Campbell soup, he got the job in the preseason. We were a little bit skeptical of the 5x25 last year. He gets pulled after making 12 out of 16, and Stuart Skinner's already been scored upon. If that's how it's going to start for Edmonton, that's going to be a long season.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this may be a fluke, right? This doesn't the game number 1 doesn't necessarily define the entire year, but this is not what any Oiler fan was expecting, and not what really any hockey fan or any member of the media was expecting. I think that anyone you asked probably would have expected the scoreline to be completely flipped, 5-1 Oilers. They're expecting, as I am, as you probably are, the offensive juggernaut that we're typically used to. And we talked about the Devils and some of the Eastern Conference teams that are highlighted as deep threats for the playoffs this year and potentially Stanley Cup level performances. Well, the Oilers in the West are on the tip of many people's tongues. But yeah, if this is going to be the kind of performance that they're going to have to endure, withstand, and if it's going to be goaltending that's this shaky, all bets are off, John.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then when he brought in Matthias Ekholm and some of the stuff for Nashville to kind of fix up the defensive situations, well, we saw in the postseason that didn't happen. This is largely the same team getting another year older with the aspirations. And I want to lead back into this before we get into another out-of-town scoreboard part of it. FanDuel Stanley Cup favorite odds. Yes, I know it's game 1, but this was the opener, and this shocked me a little bit. So I'm going to get Cooper's thoughts. So to open, again, I don't have any problems with the opening, but I'm going to lead you off the odds from the best to worst. So Colorado, 850, Carolina, 900, New Jersey, 1,000, Edmonton, Toronto, plus 1,100, Dallas, plus 1,300, but Vegas was plus 1,300. Are you telling me there's 7 teams better right now than the Vegas Golden Knights? Because I think we should put some money down.
Yeah, I think so too. The irony that the team in the betting capital of the world isn't the best bet right now. I mean, listen, the Seattle Kraken last night, they did not play a terrible game. They didn't play a perfect game, but they did not play a bad game. They had a lot of chances that they were inches, just slivers away from putting past Aiden Hill. But you know what? The Knights are the defending Stanley Cup champions, and they played like it. They looked like it. They pushed back against their opponent when they needed to. They found the net when they needed to. And ultimately, they had a very comfortable victory. And I think that, I'm glad you brought it up, John. I think that they are being undervalued right now.
I definitely do. And again, maybe I think of it because it goes without saying it's so hard to repeat. But the Golden Knights are already missing Alec Martinez, and they have another injury outside of it. But yet they look like they didn't miss a beat. And again, we talk about some of the goal scores from last night. Well, hello, Cooper. Again, it's Ivan Barbashev with a nasty wrister trying to catch a back check from Vince Dunn. Did you see that one?
I certainly did. I watched the majority of that game. That was a beaut. And Barbashev, he's looking good to start the year, no question.
And again, Jonathan Marchessault and then Jack Eichel, I thought it was very fitting alongside their playoff coverage. He's the one that gets the empty net tally as the Golden Knights got a 4-1 victory on that side. The other out-of-town scoreboard that I wanted to look at, again, if Cooper wasn't available, I probably would have kept my eye on this one. But again, I would have fallen into Calgary and Winnipeg because we've done so many. It kind of feels like my secondary team. But I got to look at this in between Colorado and L.A. as it's about to end the second period. Who gets on the score sheet where it's Carl Grundstrom for the LA Kings, but I don't see Pierre Dubois. Again, he doesn't want to go by Pierre-Luc. It's PL now, so I got to make sure I get that right. Don't see his name, but Nathan McKinnon, Kel McCarr, and Mikko Rantanen. My goodness, what else is new?
Yeah, nothing. There you go, nothing. And it's the Avalanche looking like a team that still wants to compete. I think, speaking about teams that are undervalued, look, this is not the Avalanche team that is coming right off of their most recent Stanley Cup win from a couple seasons prior. But are you kidding me? Are you really going to say that a team with McKinnon, McCarr, and the pieces that they have aren't going to be competitive night in and night out? I mean, I wouldn't flyer on the Avalanche and say they have all the pieces and potential to make a deep run as well.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it right now in the names and the lineup, just to see from the new additions that we talked about from our show. So you got Ross Cole with a couple shots. You got Jonathan Drouin with a +2. Ryan Johansson. You got Logan O'Connor that's going to get some more ice time for some of the losses. Freddie Olofsson, Tomas Tatar, who was a late add that I think can be pretty good, and Miles Wood on the offense. And then you're going to mix in that same defensive crew. And Gergiev has been solid, stopped 23 out of 24. And Cam Talbot got the start over Phoenix Copley, stopping 20 out of 23. But in that situation, alongside Pierre-Luc Dubois, again, we see some of the players in our game now that are former Kings playing with the Jets who've looked good. I was on record. Again, I think the Kings could still be a playoff team, but I mentioned in our show, I feel like they could miss. I'm not going to blame it all in one game, but those are a lot of names that are gone. And now when you have Talbot, you have Copley, you have kind of a 1A, 1B goaltending situation. You don't really have a bona fide starter in that right now to me.
Yeah, John, you just read my mind. And since we're talking about so much specific division action, there's definitely a narrative here. Obviously, in the game that we're covering, we're talking about Markstrom, and Markstrom has looked very good, again, barring the one moment. That is a central narrative for the Flames. We already brought up Philip Grubauer and his excellent play in the playoffs that really fueled their drive to the semifinals. Can he continue that form, or will he regress? That's a question for the Kraken. And then we were just talking about these teams in the out-of-town scoreboard, John, and it's going to come down in large part to goaltending. And so you think about the fact that Cam Talbot is starting tonight for the Kings. Is that really feasible for an entire season? And Copley is a decent 1B, but he is almost like the Kings' Vladar. There are moments when he's going to be very successful, and there are other times where he will be very average or even below average. And you can say the same about the Oilers. That's what we were just talking about when discussing their game, which looks to be a certain loss to the Canucks. So it really is a through line for a lot of these clubs, and I think it will define the standings in that division in a lot of ways. The teams that answer that question early find consistency and get confidence out of their starters and don't have to keep answering that question and keep tamping out that doubt. Those are the teams that are going to be separating themselves probably before the holiday break.
Yes, and I want to mention this early because I know we briefly touched on BGK, but we went through some schedule stuff, and this is something where if you're Bruce Cassidy, again, they looked very solid against the Seattle Kraken in night one, and I think that they're going to have to continue to try to look solid. Again, this is a schedule that sounds easy, and Cooper and I are not going to sit here and tell you they won't take advantage of it, but make sure you stay locked in because the schedule is as follows. Sharks, Ducks, Stars, Jets, the Blackhawks, Flyers, and Blackhawks. So, yes, you have a mix in between Dallas and Winnipeg, but you have a very early schedule all the way through October 27th on Friday. That is 7 games, and maybe 6 of them look very winnable.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I like, John, you talking about consistency. You have been consistent as well, my friend. I think really putting a spotlight on these early contests and the potential or lack thereof, depending on what squads we're talking about, to separate oneself and get an early leg up. Those are the kinds of things that, they're going to be fluctuations. In obviously, standings change, fortunes change, cold streaks happen, 10-game winning streaks happen. But if you can win the games you need to win and maybe steal 1 or 2 extra in the early stretch here, it's going to go a long way.
We'll see what we can do as far as next week, because I know I'll have the Waterford Sharks stuff for the next Saturday side, but I'm looking at for the Seattle Kraken because I know that there are a few games on the road before they come home. But their home opener, my friend, is next Tuesday on ESPN. It's a 10 o'clock game against the Avalanche. Maybe we keep our eyes on that one.
Yeah, that's a big matchup, and of course we remember the Avalanche being a key opponent for so many teams that we cover, John. It always seems to be, if not an outright exciting game, or let me put it a different way. It's exciting for different reasons. Sometimes it's because it's close, and we get a game like the one that we're witnessing tonight between the Flames and Jets. Other times, We've seen the Flames do it, and then the season take a different turn. Sometimes it's a dominant victory for these teams that we're covering, and either way, the Avalanche always make for a very interesting opponent, and that's going to be a compelling one.
Yeah, I don't want to always have to drag Cooper Hopkins in that corner because I'm just kind of addicted to the star power, especially early in the year. Because again, we went that from the Avalanche last year. We saw Nazem Kadri get the ring inside that beautiful box in the ceremony screen on that side. And now this is another huge game today against the Jets. And we're hoping, honestly, that for the Flames, that night one doesn't account for the rest of the season because the Flames started 4-1, and then it was kind of a rocky road the rest of the way. So Jacob Markstrom is doing his best to smooth everything out right now. I know the Flames, they've played well in spots. Rasmus Anderson had a beautiful goal there, but Jacob Markstrom, he's been the story through the first 40 minutes.
Yeah, and listen, it bears repeating. Can we talk about his not one, not two, but back-to-back saves on a power play that, by the way, will continue when the third period starts because Markstrom stones the Jets from about 10 feet out, then about 5 feet out, then from about 6 inches out. Just an incredible sequence as at perfect timing. We get the broadcast feed back here from Sportsnet, another beautiful shot of Calgary, and hey, there's Kelly Rudy and Rick Ball. But you know what? Forget them. This is all about John Cooper Hopkins. We're about to take the third period here, which is moments away. And John, I think we have the plan. If you want to jump back in on the play-by-play, I will add the color, and I will do my best to not steal exciting goal calls and saves from you anymore.
No, we're all good on that side, so I can jump in if you want to do anything in relief. I appreciate it. Again, I know you've been dealing with a little bit of sickness as I am, so I don't want to make you lose your voice here and have Jen yell at me on night one because we just started our broadcasts.
No, we'll get there. We'll get there. She'll be yelling at me, but we'll save it for the All-Star break. We'll try to keep things copacetic for now.
Okay, it sounds good. So it's a 3-2 lead right now, and it's 10 seconds to go. An abbreviated power play for the Jets. They might be going 0 for 4, and that's very hard to believe considering how good they've been. Michael Backlund's been in the penalty box a couple times. There's a long outstretched shot from the newly minted captain. That one's fought off by Hellebuck as Neil Pionk will try to take this left to right in the third period. 29-15 are the shots on goal, but it's in favor of Calgary right now. And again, most of the time when you think about last year in the Daryl Sutter squad, you could flip those shots and you could flip that score line. So Calgary is very happy to be on the front foot of this side. Here's a beautiful chip pass, 2-on-1. Diving shot block attempt, stop an opportunity for Kadri on an odd man rush. And this is pushed the other way for Connor. Here's a drop pass. Long shot goes off the glove of Jacob Markstrom. And now Nazem's got it now, although it's 1-on-3. Trying to protect this puck beautifully, ride the right side of the boards. As he'll just work this around the net now. So make it 30-15 as we've updated. Double up the shots on Calgary here. I see a lot of Sia Redder right now, but we're still kind of waiting because it's a one-goal game, but you want to be on the right side of it, and that's where Calgary is. Here's a good outstretched pass into the neutral zone. It's Nikolai Ehlers. Again, he's been noticeable, but Kyle Connor's been noticeable. He's got one. He's been snaking a little bit more, I think, than one to Mello. Across the defensive partner to the traffic, and this will be picked back up by Ehlers. Nice shovel pass. It was kind of a no-look. And now Jonathan Huberdeau trying to race down the left wing side. A cross pass and another late dive. We'll take the puck away just for a moment for Brandon Tanev's got it now. Here's a flip, and this will be recollected by Nito Niederreiter, who could probably already have a couple goals. This one goes off the glass, stays in play, and now Brandon Tanev's got it in his own end. This is a good outstretched pass from 100 feet, but this will be sent down deep. Hellebuck will have to just brush it away from the goal crease, and now the Jets can push their way as they're in their road whites. With the blue pants and the striping side, you got the sea of red for the Calgary Flames at the Saddledome right now, at least for another several seasons. As Mackenzie Weegar flips this one in, good back check by the Jets. They get this across the Flaming Sea and try to enter again as Mason Appleton will play this in off the glass. He was reacquired back from the Jets last year at the dead white side. Neil Pionk holds it in, stutter step right to the traffic, right in the stomach of Markstrom, and he holds on.
Wow, John, I don't want to oversell it, but that shot that Markstrom just saved, he saw that change direction multiple times. He was in great fundamental position right there. He was able to spot that through traffic and squeeze the door shut right there. Nice job by number 25.
Yes, he did. I feel like he's been tracking the puck all night, and regardless if he said to make the routine ones or the snazzy ones. He's kind of made them all. I understand the one from Kyle Connor you might want to have back, but at least the Flames have done enough to be able to get 3 goals. Backlund can't win the defensive zone draw. Here's another chance. This one gets deflected, goes wide in the left side wall, and the Flames will get that out. Again, you want to be on the front foot here. I know it's a 1-goal lead, but I don't think you want to park the bus because the Jets have been extremely dangerous. It's kind of weird that you would think that the scoreline is where it is, but Markstrom's been that good, and he's kind of flushed some form from the previous year when the Flames had made the playoffs, and that's no surprise. He can be that good. He's definitely a numero uno goaltender, as this one is iced.
Yeah, so again, it's just a bit of a similar theme here as the teams are feeling each other out a bit in this third period. But unfortunately, as we have seen and talked about, the Jets, and it's only 3 minutes into the third, but the Jets have had a little bit more possession. Flames have been clearing a little bit more. You saw the Flames with a couple of odd man rushes there. But again, it's usually flashes for the Flames and a little bit more consistency for the Jets. We'll see if that continues through the rest of this regulation.
Yeah, that's been the story consistently. We'll have to see if it's going to change. 16:55 left to go in the third. John, I'm here with you on the play-by-play, being joined by Cooper Hopkins in our first broadcast of the season, and it'll be the first of many. Here's a bad turnover in the middle of the circles, and the back pass goes off the back skate of one of the Jets there. Again, there's been a couple turnovers that need to be cleaned up. Hasn't been a perfect game. It is night one for both teams, but you got to watch out some of the danger chances as Ehlers tries to get this away. Huberdeau's got it now on his own end, but it's still very contentious as this is sent down the ice by Hanifin, and we will keep the same personnel on the ice because it's iced.
Yeah, so a couple of icings here, almost or really effectively right in a row, John. And, look, it's not a disaster, but not what you love to see. You want to see some possession in your own end and be able to carry out or maybe make a breakout pass. But right now, Lindholm going to have to win a D-zone draw for the team in red.
Yeah, D-zone draws have been a little bit of a problem here, but not this time for the Flames, as they will flip this one out. You try to flip it out in the video game, it doesn't go anywhere. It's a 1,000-pound weight. So for anyone that plays that now, make that note. That's Perfetti. We'll try to put this in. Mason Appleton will steer it ahead, but Mackenzie Weegar the first to get to it. Again, he had a pretty key goal in this game. A couple goals from the defenseman here for the Calgary Flames. You can expect them to do that. They're very good. Andrew Mangiapane, and around the end boards now, tries to get a piece of it. Good active stick check and a body bump there for Calgary, but he can't dispossess the Jets of the puck. That's where they come to the neutral zone. Here's Ehlers. Try to drop it here for Perfetti, but Nikolai Ehlers has it now. He's dangerous as this is centered slowly. Lowry tries to tip it away from Markstrom, but this will go back to the Jets. Perfetti, he's looking for a deflection there, and you don't need a rider now. As the Jets are all over this thing, Nate Schmidt is turning around in the high slot. He wants the puck. Settle back down. Here's a long shot blocked down in front by the Flames. Nazem Kadri's got it. Here's a beautiful sauce pass. Going to be able to allow the Flames get some time. Coronado! Kadri! Stopped by Hellebuck.
John, that is a beauty of a play right there by the youngster Coronado. Now, first of all, he is set up by a great sauce pass right there by Kadri coming through the neutral zone. As we see on the Sportsnet side here, a bouncing puck. Again, dangerous possession there. But the Flames come the other way. And again, it's a flash, right? When they do get possession, it becomes an odd man rush. Sharon Govich was in there, and Kadri gets a backhand on that thing. It almost goes 5-hole, but Hellebuck able to close the door. Flames, they are able to push back. It's moments, but when they get their moments, they make the most of them.
15:20 left to go in the third. It's a face-off win for the Jets. This will go back in the Flame zone. We'll get set to do this again. Mangiapane, and this one is iced.
Yeah, again, listen, I'm not going to ring any alarm bells. Don't love all the icings. Like in that case right there, at least that was an attempt to get the puck out into an offensive zone through a stretch pass just to connect with Mangiapane. But again, rightfully, we're getting just out of the bench. And that was Kadri right there next to Coronado. I really loved what I saw from them on their last shift. Hopefully, they'll bring that energy when they come back out next time.
Jonathan Huberdeau's got it now off the face-off win. Lindholm tried to get there, but a good back check by the Jets. It's an opportunity for Gabe Villiard, former LA King. Nice setup passing play. This is caught up in the middle of the slot. The Flames are there, but now we'll see who can get loose puck possession. There's diving players all over the ice. Dylan DeMello trying to get a piece of it. He's slow to get up, and he looks no worse for wear. Spun around by Connor, and this is sent in deep there for Rasmus Anderson. It's a bomb of a backhand trying to get this one to Noah Hanifin. This goes back to Rasmus a little bit. Cute shot around the end boards. And now Rasmus Anderson again's got to play some defense. He will clear this one down. And now Neil Pionk will get it. It's a change for Ryan Huska's squad. The Calgary Flames again. Huska trying to get his first coaching win in the NHL. About 14-15 there to do so here, but the Jets lead on the shot board 32-16 and a 3-2 score line for the Flames. This is sent back down. Markstrom will brush it aside near the right side of the faceoff dot. And this is picked up across the Flaming Sea by the Jets. A little bit of a sandwich there is averted from one of the Jets that could have taken some massive body contact. And there's an opportunity for Greer to get his body in there. He was picked up off of waivers, and between Greer and Zadorov, I almost kind of lost the numbers. They look like the same body type that can bring the pain train, as this is recollected now by the Jets. Here's Sauce all the way down the ice. Mackenzie Weegar will collect this off the backhand. He'll try to chip it off the wall, but this stays in for Rasmus Kupari, and then picked up in the middle of the zone for Mackenzie Weegar, former Florida Panther. As this is sent back across the defensive side, the rest of them could take a change. There's big Nikita Zadorov with some good work in behind his net. As they'll flip this one across, and now Blake Coleman, third line side's got it. Here's a wrist shot and a good save for Connor Hellebuck as he closes the 5-hole.
Yeah, a couple of things there recently, just in the last 10 seconds or so in the run of play. You know what? I just love the calm confidence. I keep hyping up Nikita Zadorov as we hit the media timeout here. John, just the calm confidence and the understanding. I'm going to stick handle this thing from in front of my net, back behind my netminder. I'm going to bring it out in front. I'm going to cut off the angle of the forechecker, and I'm going to break this thing out of my zone like I've done it a million times, because guess what I have? I'm a pro defenseman. You know what? He has been probably my favorite Flame tonight. Nikita Zadorov looking great so far in this first game. And also, nice shot right there. Listen, Hellebuck is not somebody that we've talked about with a lot of specifics tonight, but even though he's led into 3, he's been very good as well. And that's the reason why this game's been so close.
Yeah, he's had a couple of good slides over from the left to right post, especially in this period. And when we talked about Nikita Zadorov regarding through the comments, I think he's just someone throughout the couple of years in these broadcasts now that we've done a lot of these, my friend. He's not somebody I ever have to worry about, and especially when you're a defenseman and we don't have to call your name out very much. That means you're doing your job.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point. And the other side of that same coin is how many times we said, oh, wow, Zadorov really blew it right there. I mean, look, I know there's a lot of hockey that we've covered, and sometimes the memories start to bleed together, but I can't really remember a specific time where I'm like, boy, wow, Nikita Zadorov really cost this game there. That mistake really put his team in a hole. Quite the opposite. Usually he's the one preventing those situations.
Yeah, he's always very dependable. You can throw him on the second line again. I'd be happy in between, because I know it's like Ben Sherratt and Justin Holl. It would be a huge upgrade to have Nikita Zadorov on the Red Wings side of it. So again, you won't hear any complaints from me as we're going to be in this third period here. I didn't hope I have to look at this screenshot again. Games decided by 1-goal losses and 1-goal games. Can we take that off the screen? I want positivity.
Well, 48 1-goal games. That is well over half of the entire season. 30 of those 48, so let's just call it 2/3, just short of 2/3 losses for the Flames last year. And that, any number of those, you take even 2 of those, turn them into wins,
right? And
all of a sudden we flip the standings, the Flames are in the playoffs. But it's a new year. That's why we're going to play some games with 13-11 to go here, and a 34th shot on the board for the Jets. I will take the opportunity to say it for the umpteenth time. The Jets still doubling up the Flames on the shot board, but it's 3-2 Calgary. John Ott, back to you.
That was almost a sweet deflection, but it caught Huberdeau offsides trying to play that out of the air. I like that.
Yeah, that was a little ping pong action right there. That was from the neutral zone across the blue line. Huberdeau was just a couple of steps offside, but he was able to corral that thing, and he would have had potentially a shot attempt right there.
So you see Rick Bowness behind the bench. The Jets have made the playoffs in 5 of the last 6 seasons. Again, I had them with upset special against the Vegas Golden Knights, but they ended up suffering a lot of injuries. But make no mistake about it, regardless of what happens in this game, we will be keeping our eye on the Central, on the Winnipeg Jets, because we know the damage that they can do. When you get those extensions of Scheifele and Hellebuck, those are guys that are horses for your team, and they can carry you in the long stretches. As Huberdeau able to make a play from the knees, and Nazem Kadri avoids some body contact. and now the Jets will have it. We're going to begin in a crunch time here, almost in the final 10 minutes of the third. John Under with you alongside Cooper Hopkins. It's officially 12:25 in the third with the shot board 34-17. Reset from Cooper on that side. It's a 3-2 lead for the Flames. Shifley will send this one back here for Neil Pionk, and he'll take his time. Very patient as he'll get this one for Mark Shifley, 40-goal scorer last year. Beautiful entry there for Brown. A little bit of too much space for my liking. Sent back around for Noah Hannafin. This goes off the glass and cleared down the ice. And Mark will pick it back up. We'll try to send it back to the top line of Kyle Connor, the Shelby Township, Michigan native. He's already got one. Probably could have had a hat trick if it wasn't for Jacob Markstrom. Again, he's been robbed point blank on several one-timers alongside Shifley and Niederreiter. And Markstrom has been exceptional in this game. As sent back around for Shifley and picked up in the high slot. As it's sent back around, here comes a slap shot, and Markstrom will calmly hold on to it.
Yeah, Markstrom making that huge slapper look easy right there. Great rebound control. He gets that shot, the initial shot, right off the breadbasket, bounces in front, the paddle's out. He scoops it back in, covers with the trapper, face off. That's just good classic goaltending right there on a slapper from outside.
I'm just trying to say it as plain as day. I know what the home openers we see for 5-0-1, but this is the best that Jacob Markstrom's looked in about a calendar year from doing our broadcasts in my four eyes so far.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe even more than a calendar year. But you know what? You take it when you get it, and the Flames are getting it tonight in a very good way from their key goaltender in the crease tonight. Great stops from Markstrom with 11:20 to go. So still work to do in this one-goal game.
Oh, the Messikov got abused by Zadorov. And I'd be surprised if they try to answer against Zadorov there. That's a tree trunk into another body contact. As we're still live, here's the slapper picked up by Osterley. He can walk in, and I hope that they replay that hit so we can react on it. My goodness.
Oh, John, I know we're still underway here. The Jets have possession. They're going to try to break out of their own zone. That is the third hit. It's a hit, a period, that could be on any highlight reel the Flames ever put together. It's Zadorov throwing the body. He absolutely leveled Nemesnikov, and it's been in the same spot on the ice every single time. Back to you.
Please, Nikita Zadorov from the play-by-play side, don't ever leave the Flames. I like watching you on that end. 174 hits. Big stop by Markstrom.
Yeah, this just continues, John. It's what we were just talking about. I said during the intermission, I don't want to tempt fate, give any specifics out. Maybe I'm being superstitious, so I'll keep the comments at a minimum now about Markstrom. Oh, there it is. Zadorov just backs it, and then he goes with the outlet pass through the skates, right through the wickets, and he sets his team up. And Osterley was able to walk in, tries to go glove side. Good stop there off the trapper by Hellebuck. But man, oh man, Nikita Zadorov, if you don't think he's impacting this game, you are not watching. He has been excellent.
It's amazing. He's only got 3 hits, but all of them have been calendar worthy in this game as we're live now, and this is picked up here by Jacob Markstrom. It's not loose yet. Nikita Zadorov calmly in behind his net. They use a big 6-6 reach. This is a race for Coleman, and Hellebuck's got to hold on.
Boy, Zadorov does it again. He does it right there.
Yeah.
Now, Markstrom was trying to cover up before the Flames broke out of their own end. He was a little bit tied up, and the puck actually snuck under his trapper. So it was still loose. And guess who's there to clean it up? It's number 16. Uyghur helps out right there, and then the Flames put it back into the corner. Zadorov just walks it out front, calmly breaks out for his team, and now they have an ozone draw.
Markstrom's mask is really cool. I don't know all the people that are on it, but I'm enjoying that close-up.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Because I follow all the Flames Twitter stuff, it's a Johnny Cash mask because every time the Flames win, they play, Ring of Fire?
Ring of Fire, yes.
Burn. Yeah. So it's a Johnny Cash tribute mask. And, yeah, the artist did a great job on the airbrushing of that mask.
That's really cool. Shame on me that I didn't recognize Johnny Cash. I can't tell that from my Dallas Stars natives that follow along. I'll get yelled at as this is picked up here for Nikita Zadorov now, and the Flames will send that back around for Jonathan Huberdeau. He'll make a play falling down, and this will pick it up now across the Flame and see for Lindholm, and we'll fire this back in off the slap shot. The shots are 36-19, but right now we'll mark it in as 34-36 for Markstrom, and Flames have needed it all, and I think there might be a couple more goals the way this is going, empty net or not. The Jets have been dangerous the whole way through. As this is picked up, DeMello will take a look. This is flipped out. And a good diving play by Greer. Again, that's another name that we get a chance to call waiver wire or not. He's been very good. As this is sent in now. Flipped, glove down, and this will be played by Lowry. He had to get crunched by some body contact and now Tanev. This is in between. A couple of the Flames there in Dewar, as this is picked up into the neutral zone here for Mason Appleton. It's sent back down there. 8:55 left to go in the third. It's yet another one-goal game. They called a host of those last year, and it's another one of these ones that come down the wire against two good teams, as this is iced.
Yeah, you make a good point, John. I didn't see the most obvious that was right thing that was right in front of me. We talked about last year's one-goal games. Well, yeah, there's another one-goal game. It's right in front of us. It's the one we're actively broadcasting at this very moment with less than 9 minutes to go here in the third. And you know what? Great job by the Flames. I like there does seem to be a calm confidence here. They don't seem shaken or that they're trying to park the bus, as you like to say. This has been a good balanced period so far from Calgary. Maybe they're potentially, they haven't scored. Even then, they're icing the puck a little bit too much. So maybe I'm undermining my own argument. But it's been a decent period so far from the Flames, and that's what you need when you're up by just one.
I hate to throw it right back to you, but again, I mentioned this a couple times in the broadcast. Adam Ruzicka on draws, but he's been pretty good so far on the fourth line.
He has been. There have been a couple other Flames who made impacts last year, the likes of Walker Dewar, who was a name you just mentioned. Obviously, look, they're not getting peak ice time or anything like that. These guys aren't the first liners, but there have been contributions from across the lineup, and we will see that continue, hopefully, as this season matures. But great job throughout the lineup tonight. It reminds me of the Kraken, who got excellent contributions from up and down their lines last year.
So offensive zone time, about 12-12 for the Jets, about 10 minutes for the Flames. Again, there's certain disparities that look larger than they are right now, but all that matters is the scoreboard. It's a 3-2 lead for the Calgary Flames, and it's another one of those knife-edge games, as we talked about. Kadri will send it in, but that was kind of a lazy pass there, and this might allow the Jets to gain into the entry zone. Perfetti, drop pass, thought he probably should have shot that one, and that allowed the Flames to be able to send this one down. This will not be iced, and the D has to mean Niederreiter, but he'll do it again and behind his own head. Trying to use the burners here, get this across the left side and gain the entry across the red. Jacob Markstrom, a flipping puck. Nikita Zadorov, it bounces off his body, and it's sent across here for Neil Pionk. Pionk and Morrissey, they'll settle it down as Pionk's got it now. Pick it in just before the red, they'll gain the entry into the right side wall. Beautiful stutter step, drop pass, and a little bit too far for the Jets, as they'll have to check back up. See if Ryan Huska's squad wants to make some changes. Rick Bonuses just wants another goal here. They got about 7:05 to do that in the third. Here's an entry 1-on-3, trying to get around Christopher Tanev, but can't do so. In a flip, this one will gain the neutral zone here, and the Jets will try to get right back in and start again. Josh Morrissey, his sauce pass will push everyone offside. They got to get back settled in the defensive zone again, left to right in this third period. But the Jets have iced it.
Yeah, John, I think I can't keep track of them all because there have been so many for the Flames. That may be the first icing against the Jets in this third period. And we're inside 7 minutes to play. It's 35 shots to 19. That count is in favor of Winnipeg, as it has been really all game. But again, as we continue to point out, it's a one-goal advantage for the Michael Backlund-led Calgary Flames by a count of 3-2. Backlund on this ozone faceoff, he wins it.
Zadorov fakes and then shoots. As this one gets blocked, they want it off Rasmus Kupari. And this is flipped in off of a Flame, and this should be a neutral zone draw upcoming with 6:40 left in the third.
Yeah, that's a long deflection right there. That came from the other side of the blue line up into the netting to the right of Markstrom. So, yeah, should be a neutral zone draw at one of the dots there. And the Flames looking to continue to make a push. And this is what we've talked about so many times, Sean. We've covered so many games. You got to keep some of that offensive threat in your game, right? You can't really shell up, especially in a one-goal game like this when you're playing an opponent that knows how to threaten. But the Flames have been doing a very good job of keeping the Jets honest and getting some opportunities on the offensive side of their own.
Yes, they have, and we'll have to see how this continues because we know the push from the Jets will come, and we'll see what happens on the scoreboard side. And I am just going to do this during the commercial break. Again, I'll just go away from our featured cast for a second. It's 7-1 Vancouver.
John, do you think that we're going to hear some sky is falling reactions from Oiler Nation? I'm pretty sure we will, because this is not what anyone thought was even in the realm of possibility. Now, look, one last thing I'll say about the Canucks. We mentioned this early in our broadcast. The Red Wings have been treated as a fringe team over the past handful of seasons, right? The Canucks have as well, and understandably so, right? A little bit of playoff talk, and then maybe they threaten. They might beat a couple of teams that they're not expected to beat. But this feels different.
Yes.
I don't want to write the story of the whole season of the Vancouver Canucks in one night, but all I will say, and maybe it's just my own gut feeling, it feels different.
It's a 5-point night for JT Miller, and Brock Besser, he raises Austin Matthews 1. He's going to give you 4 goals.
Well, I mean, there's your early goal scoring leader. I mean, we're already in the Rocky Richard race, John. I didn't think we'd be talking about that for a while, but here we go.
And on the other side, again, the Colorado Avalanche have added their lead. It's the Moose, Mikko Rantanen unassisted at 4:59. They take a 4-2 lead against the LA Kings. We'll get back into our featured game here as it's a center zone faceoff one. We'll keep you abreast of the other scorings because it's probably going to be about the same time ending as our game, but the Flames got a game to win here. It's a 1-goal one here between Winnipeg. It's a good contest between both of these teams. And again, every time we cover the Flames and the Jets, we seem to get some intrigue. So I'm always enjoying this. So again, I can't get away from that 7-1. They're showing it on the Sportsnet screen now. But here's Neil Pionk. Gains the entry, backhanded beautifully. Now he's going to work his way near the right side dot and behind the net. He's still with this thing as he centers it back for D side. Mason Appleton looking for the deflection. Markstrom was very heavily screened, but the Jets now have to pick this one back up and through the neutral zone. 5:50 left to go in this third. It's 35 shots to 19 in favor of the Jets, but they're down 3-2 here at the Saddledome, trying to get the first one of the season. The Flames, Scheifele scores! And tight lifts it over the bar. What a shot! It's 3-3.
None other than number 55, John. And boy, that was a quick developing play. I'll be honest with you. I was actually glancing away looking at the team rosters for a moment because both teams were changing on the fly. Markstrom gets the puck. He paddles this out to Hannafin. And Hannafin, 155. The puck bounces to the other 55. And a diving Rasmus Anderson cannot stop that shelved shot. A beautiful snipe from right in close, John. I mean, that's about 12 feet away from the near circle. And I don't care who you are, he rings that around almost the entire cage, bar, crossbar, bar. And it is a tie hockey game. Oh, I don't know. This is a tough one. I want to say it feels fair, but the Flames felt like they were, about a minute or two away from really sealing this thing off. But now it's 3-3.
And that Markstrom pass, I don't really want to blame him because it felt like it was wide open for Hannafin, but then he got his pocket pick, which led to the chaos. And then Scheifele goes bar from the top, right, left, and in. I mean, that's a gorgeous shot. You know why he scored 40. He just showed you there, right there. And now it's a 3-3 game. And is it going to be another one of those games where you have to get the OTL point? Hopefully that's not the situation. But again, this is another one of these Flames games that we've dealt with all of last year. And I was hoping.
I'm blaming you, John. I'm blaming you because you said this game's going to end about the time that the other games on the schedule are going to end. Well, guess what? Now we're getting extra hockey, buddy. Thanks a lot.
I know. I just can't get away from it with these games, but there's always intrigue. You're just going to pull at your heartstrings, I guess. That's what we'll be watching. Jordan Osterley now. And behind the net, the Jets are dangerous. This is centered on in front, and this goes in between the legs of Morrissey. Morrissey will settle it down. He's had a ton of apples last year. Again, not the level of Erik Karlsson, but not too far away from that either. Nikita Zadorov, best headlock impression there, as Ruzicka will try to get this one out now. And here's a chance as this is picked up now near the right side of the blue line. About 4:10 left to go in this third. Scheifele has made it a 3-3 game. Jets gain the entry. This one gets shot up in the air and out of play.
Well, now this game just became, look, it's been a good one. No question about it. You've said it several times, and I have no argument. But my goodness, Sean, the entire tenor of the contest has changed now. The narrative, all the sports writers who were about ready to file their submissions, their drafts of their articles, guess what? It's all changed, friends, because this thing is tied 3 apiece. Who's going to get goal lucky number 7? That's the question. Again, I mentioned it earlier. The Jets have not led in this game. They have tied it multiple times. So if history, at least the brief history of just this game, is any indication, you'd lean toward the home squad. But who knows? This is, again, potentially a Flames team that just can't escape these tight contests. Luckily, it's been entertaining. But man, oh man, now it's a nail-biter.
Yes, it has been. Again, Markstrom 35 out of 38. I mean, we can make the argument that this game shouldn't even be this close. And then Connor Hellebuck again, 16 on 19 on that end. Hasn't been very Connor Hellebuck-like, but yet he's made some saves that kept his team in the game. As this is going to be getting very close again. We will see what happens if we need OT, if we go to a shootout. How fitting would it be in the first game if we just go to a shootout?
But why this way? Because I want to take on the world's toughest tackle.
As we're in the middle of a commercial break now, I'm trying to get all my other windows resetting here. We gave you all the scores. There's been a ton of goals scored in each one of the games tonight, so this is none less than what we're used to.
Yeah, no, and that was my second version of missing the mute button. Of course, John, but I was just going to say, now we can file this thing potentially under, just a classic game of the current era of the Calgary Flames. I don't know. And you know what? I didn't think we'd even have to have this discussion. I was not arrogant by any stretch, but I felt confident the Flames were going to finish this thing at 3-2. I was wrong. And now we have to think about potentially in 4 minutes, who might be out on the ice on the 3-on-3 if this thing gets to OT.
That's what makes me a little nervous, I'll admit. I think the personnel is a little bit more locked down for the Jets, but I don't know yet for the Flames on that side, because when we've seen these ones in the OT, we haven't seen a lot of finishing to the game on that side.
Agreed.
So 3:40 left to go in this third. It's now a 3-3 game courtesy of Scheifele. Again, whoever's got a ticket to this one in the opening night, regardless of whoever you root for, you definitely tune into a hell of a hockey game. Scheifele now about 18:35 ice time. Kyle Connor, he's already got one and passed in the middle of the slot. Good back check there by the Flames. Able to get this one out. Again, you want to be able to pick up points whenever you can. You always want to get the extra one. I hate to use the narrative in night one, but this is where we are right now. Sharon Kovac from Kadri trying to see for Igor to use a little bit of that speed. I think toward the back end, I've been tracking his ice time a little bit less, more of a third line side as they're easing him in. But again, Conway loves the shot and the speed. That's what they brought him in for on that side. Markstrom will make this pass a little more conventional here. His back one will try to pick this one back around again, the newly minted captain. 2:45 left to go in this third, and we will see what intrigue awaits us. There's already been a lot of it. Near the right side wall, here's a shot that gets deflected. Dubé will recollect off the back spin. Keep it near the left side walls. He'll send it in deep. And Kupari will try to pick it up now for the Jets as this is wrapped all the way around and kept in near the right side of the blue line. Coleman trying to work hard on the third line side as the Flames will keep this alive and behind the net. They're being outshot 38-19, but it's a 3-3 game right now. Two teams that are very evenly matched a lot of the times when they play each other in the regular season. Hannafin, 5-hole save by Connor Hellebuck as we're getting close to the 2-minute marker now. I am feeling a little bit of this here in the first night because this is a very close game. I didn't have a lot of this yesterday between Vegas and Seattle, but this is a much different tenor between these two teams. As Kupari, he's the one that swallows up ahead. Backlund trying to keep it alive with Huberdeau. He's trying to battle between two Jets, but he finally gets dispossessed of the puck by Brendan Dillon. A minute 40 left to go in the third. Off the long flip, this will be iced against the Jets.
That's a good turn of events right there with 1:41 to go. Again, the icing took few and far between for the Jets this period. And Flames did a really good job of maintaining possession for maybe the most extended period of the entire contest right there. I think it was even parts of multiple shifts for the Flames in the O-zone. And right now we look at the shift time of these Jets. They're already well up in past a minute. So if the Flames can take advantage here, this would be the critical time to win a draw. They do.
They do win the draw. Gets the deflection. Goes just wide of Hellebuck on the left post. Huberdeau, spin this back around. Good back pass, and what a goal! It's Lindholm with 1:31 left.
I'm speechless, John. I can't even have an emotional reaction. I first of all cannot believe what I just saw. It was absolute perfection. And it's Elias Lindholm, one of the last Flames left with question marks about his future with the franchise, contract discussions to be had, money numbers to be decided upon. But right here, that reminded me, John, and dare I bring up these names, of the Gaudreau, Kachuk,
Yes.
Lindholm, bing, bang, back of the net passing. That was absolutely fantastic. I hope this is a sign of things to come, and that celebration, the smile on his face, tells me something. This may be a different look Flames team, but they still have 90 seconds to get rid of here to get this win at 4-3.
This definitely is a ring of fire now for Johnny Cash, and they're going to be playing an empty net. Majapani looks really good in this game so far. He had complete trust of where Elias Lindholm would be in the soft spot in the middle of the slot. That was perfectly executed. But again, minute 5 left. You were feeling one kind of way like I was when Scheifele tied the game, and now it's 60 seconds away from a victory, but it's 6-on-5. Jets are still very dangerous as they put this around the inboard now. Noah Hannafin. Tanev will send this down. It bounces off the Flames. It stays in, gets deflected up high and behind the net as it's still live. Hannafin trying to get it out as this is near the right side dot. The Jets are buzzing with it. They'll settle it back down. Morrissey. When we have one more goal on this on both sides, whoever knows at this point. 32 seconds left to go in this game. It's an opportunity now as this is played off the wall and it's cleared just enough. As Calgary's got to be quick about these line changes. Connor has got it now as this tries to get flipped, but it stays in. The Jets still with it. And now Weegar with Lindholm. He's the one that just scored, tries to get it out. They send it down the ice. It's a rolling puck. Who's going to get there? Huberdeau hits the bar, but now they score. The Flames take a 5-3 lead. It's Majapani.
Oh, my goodness, John. What a sequence right there. It looked like the Jets were going to get another goal off of the change, but then the Flames turn right around. They are able to shovel the puck down the ice. Huberdeau puts the Jets on late, and he is not rewarded. He finds the iron off the left post. But Mangiapane follows up the play, doesn't take anything for granted. He actually started the play by chipping that thing down the ice, and he finishes it.
Wow.
Traffic, 2 defenders, gets upended, and ends this contest. The only thing that may be a negative here, John, and it's not for the Flames, is actually for the Jets.
Yeah.
Who went down, it was Nikolai Ehlers. He is in some serious pain at the bench with 6.5 to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick turnaround for the Jets. You don't want to lose him because he already was banged up going into this game. But unbelievably now, after just a 3-3 tie from Scheifele, bang, bang from Lindholm and Majapani, it's a 5-3 win for the Flames on opening night, Cooper. What a contest.
This is different. And I'm not saying, just like we're talking about with the Vancouver Canucks and their huge win, dominant rout of the Edmonton Oilers, this is a different tone, a different outcome, obviously. But this kind of push in a one-goal game that was the Achilles heel of this franchise for an entire year that kept them out of the playoffs because they simply could not win when it was crunch time. Guess what happened tonight, John? Flipped that whole effing script.
Yeah.
Because they just did it with literally less than 2 minutes to spare, and they put the icing on the cake with the empty netter. That is just an unreal sequence of less than 2 minutes from a Flames team that didn't show any of this kind of junk last year.
No, they did not. And again, let's go back into the 2 minutes before I let you go here because I know you want to save the pipes and all that stuff. But the Majapani goal on that end from Elias Lindholm with the Majapani setup, as this just got flipped on my screen, was absolutely ridiculous. It's a beautiful, I'm not going to say blind pass. He knew exactly where Lindholm was going to be in the soft spot, blown coverage or not. That is a gorgeous goal for Calgary to score when they absolutely needed it. Because let's be honest, the Scheifele goal could have turned this game easily into overtime, maybe even a shootout loss.
Yeah, no question. I literally brought up the the theoretical discussion that we were going to have about who takes the ice on 3-on-3. Here
Right.
we go again. Is it going to be the second guessing Huberto of last year? Is it going to be a Dylan Dubé who gives good effort but can't finish? Is it going to be a Mangiapane who had a down year? Is it going to be, you fill in the blank? But guess what? That conversation wiped right off the table, knocked off the bar, beer spilled everywhere, glass on the ground. The Flames kicked their way to victory with incredible skill. And then I'm not going to discount that empty netter. That took effort. They had to defend. They had bouncing pucks deep. Markstrom had to be calm. The entire team had to settle in and kill that last minute. And they did it, not only just getting the puck out and icing over and over. No, they chipped the puck down the ice. They gave effort at the end, moved their feet, and they were rewarded for it. Ultimately, they get the W. That's a pretty dang good way to start a season.
Yes, it is. And now what's left for Calgary after this home opener is the 5-game road trip that we talked about. Penguins, Caps, Sabres, Blue Jackets, and Red Wings. That will end on the October 22nd side. So if they can bring at least 80% of that from what they just brought against the Jets, you might be talking about a good start for the Flames. They had one last year, but again, I agree with you. This felt a lot different from some of the other names that you needed. You didn't see a lot from the newcomers on that side for Sharankovich, but you know what I did see in this game, Cooper? Was a lot of secondary goal scoring. I did see Andrew Mangiapane's name being thrown out like Dylan Dubé as somebody they needed to get some extra goal scoring from, and he looked really good tonight.
Yeah, and the other just final notes here in terms of the team's play. Listen, the Jets did look dangerous tonight. They looked like a team that was in the playoffs and could very well be in the playoffs again. And you noted that we're going to keep an eye on the Central because we're going to have to. Jets, they look pretty dang good. But here's the deal. They did not score with multiple chances on the man advantage. Yeah. So even though it was absolutely a bend, don't break situation, but the ultimate takeaway, the Flames did not break when they were down. And they did put the puck in the net when they were on the power play. They had scoring from their defense, patient, slow developing plays that took just a couple of the players on the ice. And then you see the play that got them the lead, the eventual game winner, which is bang, bang, multiple players in tight space, trusting one another, blind passes from behind the net. I mean, you got a little bit of everything from this Flames team, and you even got, maybe it was like a little inside joke, John. Maybe it was planned. I mean, this is just a funny thing we can run with. Markstrom let in that little clunker just to remind us all of what things used to be like, and then for the rest of the night, he showed us, hopefully, what things are going to be like. He certainly looks like a top goaltender in the league yet again.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a good segue. A part to think about, maybe this is how it was going to go last year, but not this year. So I think that's a good observation by you. Hey, that was a lot of fun, my friend. I hope that we can do this again soon. It's good to be back with you in the broadcast booth. And what a way to start it, huh?
Absolutely. I'm thrilled with the outcome no matter what. I am always thrilled to be in the booth with you. Great to hear your voice again. Keep up the good work, and hopefully we'll both be beyond any of the vocal cord issues. No more coughs. No more under the weather. Even as fall descends upon us, we'll keep things going here. As we got an exciting season underway, and yeah, John, it's another good one in the books, my friend. Thanks for setting everything up as you always do, and we have fun, don't we? This was a good one.
Yes, we do, man. It was a lot of fun catching up with you again, and we'll do it again soon.
You got it, pal. We'll get back on the mic and have a good night. And we'll talk soon, pal.
Sounds good. See you.
All right.
Hope you guys enjoyed. That was a fantastic game between the Winnipeg Jets and the Calgary Flames. They ended up taking it late with a couple key goals. Scheifele just tied it up, but it was a 5-3 victory for the Flames. I don't think we can get much better than that. There was a lot of theater. Talk to you guys again soon. Peace.